What's up, y'all? This is Mara Juno, and you might know me from World of Warcraft as Illyria Windrunner or the Walking Dead game as Krista, among a few others. And you're listening to the man, the legend, the Scott Clark, and the Gaming Outsider.
What's happening, Gaming Outsiders? On this week's episode, Zack, Alyssa, and I are coming back to community questions. We're going to answer questions you posted on social media. Most of them are video game related. In news, Elden Ring is getting some new content, and Wolf Among Us 2 is getting delayed. You'll also hear my impressions of a Switch port of a gear-gated game called Pronty, and Alyssa played a port of a visual novel called The Pillars of the Earth. I also had a chance to see an early screening of a film based on Roger Sharp, who happens to be a legend in the world of pinball. This is the Gaming Outsider. Greetings, programs, and welcome to the Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community, which can be found at thegamingoutsider.com. It is Sunday, March 5th. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my good friends. First off, Mr. Zach Parkerson, the host with the most. How you doing, man?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I'm so happy to not be hosting this week.
You did great last week, man.
Well, thank you, but this is my comfortable chair, following your lead.
So can I ever miss an episode without the old man voice thing coming out? Like, I just feel like that's just going to happen forever.
Yeah.
I feel like if it's not Zach, it's going to be CB.
Yeah, it's highly unlikely.
I mean, I was at a heavy metal concert, and I still get the old man voice thing.
Well, I'm hearing you speak right now, but I'm hearing it as, I was at an old heavy metal concert. So my ears translate it.
Also joining us, already laughing her tail off, is Miss Alyssa White. How you doing, Alyssa?
Everyone already knows I'm here. I am nervous because I'm going to be a cat mama tomorrow.
I don't know why you were nervous. You were like,
I haven't had a new cat in 12 years, so it's like a new experience. And she's going to be, having to acclimate to a new space, and
it'll be fine. It'll take some time. Don't freak out if it doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take some time.
I know the 3-3-3 rules, so
there you go.
What's the 3-3-3 rule?
3 days to decompress, 3 weeks to learn your routine, and 3 months for the cat to feel at home.
Oh, okay. Yeah. When I adopted a cat, I just let it live in the bathroom until it felt like leaving.
She's going to be staying in this office here until she feels comfortable, so.
Okay, so she might be a guest on the podcast.
Yeah, she might be. She is vocal. She's cute, but she might be making some appearances.
Yeah, I imagine. But she'll be sleeping across your shoulders in the middle of an episode at some point, I'm sure.
I don't know if she's affectionate in that way or not. We'll find out.
Well, welcome to the catmomoutsider.com.
Well, okay, I'm the proud mama of an Xbox Series S.
There you go.
That's some video game stuff. I finally joined the real kids in the Xbox world.
That was a hell of a deal too. The Verizon had a deal where if
50% off.
50% off. Got an Xbox Series S for $150. How about that?
Shout out to my dad for being a Verizon member.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and for
worked out pretty well.
And for having an Xbox, so I guess he didn't need it. Yeah, man, it was insane. Got here in 2 days.
That was quick.
Set it up. I can't believe how small the Series S is in person.
Right?
Yeah.
So how does it compare? Because you've been on the OG Xbox One for a while.
Right.
Have you popped it anything that you played previously to see how it runs?
Well, I checked it with the most important game possible, Vampire Survivors.
Yeah, of course.
To really stress the console.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say 2 things. One, it actually loads at a reasonable time, because I don't remember my complaint for it on Xbox One is it would take 5+ minutes to boot up from the home screen to Vampire.
I remember that. Yes.
For a game that could run on my calculator. I understand. Okay, I'm being a little facetious.
Yeah.
But hey, it runs really well, and there's actually more particle effects too. I don't know if the game's been updated or if it's just an optimization problem for the original Xbox One, but. Yeah, I don't know. It runs better. And then, I mean, the only other thing I did was boot up the first Red Dead Redemption to just walk around. So I really use my Xbox Series S for stuff that matters.
Hey, I always found old games. Just, riding my horse around in Red Dead Redemption 1 to be so calming.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah. I mean, it looked whatever magic they're doing for the backwards compat tech is unbelievable.
It really is. Because a game that I actually finished this week was Gears 2. And because I was playing with my group, and then we hopped over to Gears 3, and I don't remember Gears 3 looking that good. So I don't know if I'm looking at it with nostalgia glasses or not, but even Joel, who is playing it for the first time, is like, I can't believe this was an Xbox 360 game. This game looks incredible. So
yeah, I got PS3 a few weeks ago where I also booted up the first Red Dead Redemption right away, and it looks like a different game. So whatever they're doing is pure unadulterated magic.
It's great.
It really like puts, we're going to talk about Metroid Prime in a minute, and you're like, you charge $40 for something I feel like Xbox is almost just doing for free in the background to every game.
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of wild.
It's almost like we're spoiled. Like we don't even like really ask for it, or it's just kind of there and it happens automatically. It optimizes to whatever console you're on. Like it's just great.
It's just good guy Phil.
Yeah. The one cool thing, I don't know if you've got a chance to try it out yet, but it seems like something super insignificant that you're never going to use, and I totally use it every time, but that quick resume
yes, it's fantastic.
Is so cool, man. Like it's just really great. You can have 5 different games loaded running at one time.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and then
just
switch
pop over. So,
only thing is, if it updates, it will kind of boot you back to the beginning menu. But most of the time.
As I was judged for a few weeks ago, I close them every single time.
Well, quick resume's not going to work for you then.
Until quick resume.
You know what? I don't do it for Switch for some reason. Yeah.
Oh, that's the thing. I do it for Switch.
Yeah.
It's so much. There's more steps to do it on Switch, I feel like. It's just easy just to put it in sleep mode.
Yes.
Or let it just go to sleep mode instead of like going down to power options and then power off. And then...
Yeah. I think for Xbox and PlayStation, it's almost as many buttons to just close it anyway, so I just do.
Right.
For safety. And then the Switch is just, you just put it in the dock and it just goes to bed or whatever.
Try the quick resume, though, and then the first time that you come back and just power on your Xbox and the game is just there ready to go without even like the Xbox logo popping up or anything, you'll be like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Because it's just so nice. It's like when you watch a movie or TV show and you have the TV off, you turn the TV back on and the show's paused right wherever you were. It's that way for games now.
Oh, see,
you just turned it on and go.
That bugs me when that happens. I'm mad at myself that I left it on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we talked about that. I'm not alone. We had community members back me up that they also close apps.
I remember that because I remember being very confused by closing the apps on your phone before you go to sleep.
Yes.
And now I'm closing my apps every other day for some reason. Yeah. I don't know why.
We got it in your head.
I know you got it in my head, and now I'm thinking about it. Like if ever I have any kind of hang up on my phone, like something just is running a little slower, I'm like, well, I guess I better go close all the apps and listen to Zach.
See, now you get it.
I do that too.
Yeah, and I know the next Xbox is old news for you guys, but dude, the setup process was unbelievable.
Yeah,
coming from PlayStation, my dear PlayStation 5, the Xbox you just sign in, and it's like, all right, here's all your settings,
so
just the way they were. Here's your account, you're logged in. Don't worry about it.
You don't have to transfer your games manually.
No, not if you don't want to, and then it also you can go into your like HDMI settings on the Xbox One. It's like, this is what your TV can support. Is this what you want to do? Yeah. Whereas PS5, it's a guessing game. PS5 is like doing your taxes. They know the answer. You just have to guess for it.
You owe us some money. We're not going to tell you how much.
No.
But if you get it wrong, you're going to get a letter.
Can your TV support 120 hertz? Let's find out. Well, no, I know. I'm wondering if you'll figure it out. Yeah, it's great.
Exactly. Taxes are the worst.
Yeah, I didn't know the Series S claims it can do 120 frames a second, though. That's crazy.
I still can't see it, so I don't know.
I would never be able to tell. But I had a little check mark. It's like, hey, your TV can do this.
Yeah.
Your TV is 4K.
Yeah.
Etc.
Do you ever, like, when you start a game and it says, like, to adjust the slider for, like, the brightness, and it says, like, do it so that, like, one image is barely visible?
Uh-huh.
I do that so, like, I can, like, I click it until I can't see it anymore, and then I go one back. Is that what they mean? I stress out about that sometimes.
I always do it to where I tick it slowly, and I do the one tick, and I'm like, okay, I can't see anymore. Then I usually do like 3 back the other way.
Yeah, I just do one.
I want to be able to see.
I'm
I
just
never
the
know what to
person
do.
that I just do it until it's just kind of like outlined. I'm like, it's good.
Yeah.
I don't take it back any.
We all have different systems.
It's just like doing your recycling. Like nobody does their recycling correctly, right?
No,
like
well, the rules are so complicated, much like the brightness scale.
Are we supposed to like separate the paper
Whatever
and the
feels the
plastics?
best.
I feel like I still am hungover from like CRTs where the image, the backlight would start to burn out over time. So you just have to keep turning up the Resident Evil brightness.
Right. Yeah.
Just to see.
Been a while since that.
Yeah.
I beat Metroid Prime Remastered this week, finally. It took me about 15 hours or so. What a delight that game is. It's so good. That final boss, though, I remember the final boss being tough, but man, I can't imagine doing that final boss with the old controls now. It's tough.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, of course, Zach will get there and then just be like, "What are you talking about? That was a piece of cake."
Well, I was gonna say, I don't know if you don't mind me hogging your Metroid Prime time. I've also been playing Metroid Prime Remastered, but I just got to a boss in the Phozon Mines. Phozon Mines, is that thing? Phazon Mines. That's what I meant.
Phazon Mines. Yeah.
But it was like an invisible drone thing.
Oh, that was tough. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was. I thought that was. First of all, you can't lock onto it, right?
Correct.
How the hell did you do that on GameCube?
I mean, you could still aim, right?
Right, but with the left, while you're also turning with the same stick?
Yeah.
Dude, that's...
Just do the spray and pray method with the gun?
Spray and pray.
Well,
that's what I've heard of before.
I don't know if I missed something, but there's no save point between that boss and where the last save point is for like 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, there's a save point right next to it, but you can't use it until you fight that boss. Yeah.
Yeah, and the first time I was exploring, reading all the data logs and everything, and then I died for the first time to this freaking boss. And yeah, it felt like I lost 30 minutes.
The trick to that boss, and obviously they're not going to tell you that or anything, there's no clues to it, but you can defeat it with one super missile. Literally one. Well,
I did it with the Wave Buster.
The Wave Buster,
which is
a charged up wave beam.
Yeah, it was where you do the super missile button combo, but for the wave beam.
I actually didn't get that weapon. I got the Buster for the main weapon, and I think ice.
Oh
no. Maybe I did get the wave. I didn't get the ice one. That's what it was. But
okay. I was about to say, yeah, I'm a pro Metroid player then. But yeah. That killed the boss in about 2 seconds flat.
Yeah. That's what it takes. I mean, that is basically a super missile. If you use the regular cannon, it's a super missile. You more or less use a super missile to do that charge.
Right.
Shot,
well, the Wave Buster homes in on people too, though.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about it. Can you scan that boss?
Yes. Whoa. I don't remember now.
Because I couldn't do it, and it's driving me nuts. Because I have 75% of the logbook finished already, which I'm pretty happy about.
Wow.
Because I scan everything constantly because it's so much fun for some reason.
I know. I got 75%.
Scanning in games as well.
It's like Pokemon Snap.
Yeah. Gotta scan them all.
You're doing a lot better than me because I hit about 75% scan at the second to the last boss of the game. So, yeah.
Well, it's also a new experience for me. So I'm like, ooh, what is this? What's this?
Right.
There's spiky guys everywhere.
Yes, I love the Nightmare Before Christmas when you started saying that.
Yeah,
but imagine, being a kid. I wouldn't know as a kid. I was technically an adult, but
you're still a kid.
Growing up with Super Metroid and Metroid 2 and the original Metroid, and this is the first time seeing these enemies in 3D, but then you also get to learn about them by scanning them was just awesome. It was.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess the only 3D Metroid I had played was Other M, which you do not have scanning.
And that was kind of 3D. It was in the 3D environment, but it played more like a 2D until you had the first-person view.
It's like 2.5D, and then some of the fights were in 3D arenas, but you can only leave them in 2D ways.
I feel like we need to go back and revisit that one because we talk about it all the time negatively.
I remember the gameplay being good. I remember the story being laughable at best.
Right. I actually went and watched a retrospective just to get caught up on that story, and the whole story seems super convoluted. Even after these stupid we're just gonna lock out your weapons until later. Outside of that, the story seemed really far-fetched. I don't know, just too complicated.
Turned Samus Aran, who is a bounty hunter and hunts down Ridley from game to game, into a weird, scaredy cat. Another She sees Ridley and then freezes up, and I'm like, what? Hasn't she killed him a few times?
Yeah, several.
It's really strange behavior.
Yeah.
Anyway, Metroid Prime, great.
I need to play a Metroid game. I feel very left out.
Oh, you never played any?
No, I've got severe FOMO right now.
A really good place to start, and I don't know do you have a Game Boy Advance?
I don't think I do anymore.
She's about to have a digital one.
Well, but that's not a good place to start.
Metroid Fusion?
Metroid Fusion is not a good place to start. No,
I think
story-wise.
I think that might have been my first Metroid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, just if she's at all interested in what happens with the story, that comes chronologically later.
Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, maybe. No, but Zero Mission is I actually replayed that one a couple summers ago.
Right. Yeah, you found it in a garage sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just going to play through this. And that game is great. It's a reimagining of the original Metroid. Because the original Metroid is good, but it is also not very accessible because they didn't, weren't sure what they were doing. And it's very difficult. It's really, really difficult. So they basically remade that game from the ground up, added a whole bonus mission at the end, and it's a ton of fun and it looks really good. So then you could jump into Metroid 2, the remake on Switch.
Okay.
Then go back to Super Metroid, which is
Right.
Metroid 3.
One by one, you can get remakes of them all.
Yeah. And actually, Zach and I did a Patreon episode on the first 3 Metroid games too, so you could, or you could just go there and just get caught up on the story and then start wherever you want. How about
There
that?
you go. There's some
That's
development
true.
history too.
There is some development history.
Yeah.
Metroid
Metroid-
is such a good series.
Metroid Prime Remastered, great. I wish there was more story, which is weird because I don't always need story, right? Vampire Survivors doesn't need a story, but it feels like I want to know more about Samus in the world. And
Apparently there's a whole bunch of graphic novels that tell like her backstory about like how she was basically adopted by the Chozos and raised by them, and
right.
then she
Oh,
became
that's
a
where
bounty
Zach's
hunter.
name came from. I was wondering.
Oh yeah, Darth Chozo this week.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no, and the Chozos are extinct right by the time we played Metroid games, right?
I think so, but I think by Metroid Prime they were.
Yeah, Metroid Prime, they're definitely extinct. Or at least they say they are several times.
I mean, technically they are in the original Metroid, aren't they?
That's what I was asking.
Chozos. Oh, okay. Sorry, I said Prime, and I thought you agreed with me.
Yeah, no, I was just saying from the first time we played Metroid, the Chozo are already gone, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Which would be, if you think about it, that has to be like a psychologically traumatic event for her to go back and like discover the Chozo statues in that first mission.
Well, I wouldn't know. She doesn't have a single shred of emotion in the game.
That's true. That's true.
But I love Morph balling around. But the game, to me, and Scott, I don't know, we haven't talked on the mic about this game, have we?
We haven't. No, we've missed each other the last 3 weeks.
Right. We've been messaging a lot about it, but it just might be one of the best paced games ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not even every hour, like every 40 minutes, you're getting a new piece of gear.
Like a major piece of gear.
Right, and it totally rewrites the way you're looking at the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it, of course, it has those cool things like you go to the magma area, and I think it has cool things where it stacks, where you go to like the super hot magma room, right? And you can't
Right.
do anything in there because it cooks you alive. But then you get a better suit, and now you can go to the magma area. But guess what? You still can't really go anywhere because you need the grapple beam.
Right.
So it makes you. It keeps these places in your mind, but having you go back there a few times, going, "Oh, I can't do anything," and sometimes,
or it just makes it easier to traverse that area. Like you can still go through it, but like, man, if you had that grappling hook, you could just kind of zip your way across this and not have to deal with all this BS.
right, like the downed pirate ship,
Mm-hmm.
where you can get to it and get pretty far in it without having the gear really to do anything once you get there.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, it feels like you're kind of cheating a little bit because
Right.
there's crafty little extra paths. It's really smartly developed, and you can see why Arkham Asylum stole from this game almost wholesale.
Yeah.
The Poison Ivy boss fight in Arkham Asylum is almost the exact boss fight, first boss fight from Metroid Prime.
With the mirrors.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, there's no mirrors against Poison Ivy, but all of the attacks and the way you're planting bombs against it and stuff. So
Uh-huh.
that's what you're doing to Poison Ivy.
Oh, nice.
So, but they always said Metroid Prime was an inspiration for that game. But now that I'm playing the Source, I'm like, oh, it was a little bit more than an inspiration.
Right.
Which,
So how's Red Dead 2 coming for you?
Oh, it's great. The story's getting pretty sad, which is unfortunate.
Oh.
Alyssa, you beat this game, right?
I did. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm on chapter 6, which, from my understanding, there is an epilogue, but this is the
Yes, there is.
end.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's sad.
yeah, they're not pulling bunches, but because of the slow buildup of the story, you care about every single one of these people,
You do.
and you see the camp starting to divide, and it's kind of interesting because you're seeing Bill and Javier start to slowly become the people they are in Red Dead 1 a little bit, and I don't know, it's just incredible, man. Oh,
Nice.
there's too many spoilers to talk about it too much, but
Yeah, there are
it's-
spoilers.
it's hard to juggle this and Metroid Prime right now, just playing two great games.
Right. Now, Alyssa, I know CB talked about Atomic Heart last week, but it looks like you got a chance to play it this week.
I played a
are you
little
liking
bit of
it?
it. I'm liking it so far. I'm not like completely blown away by it, and it's probably gonna go on the back burner because I have a couple other games I got to play. But it is very fascinating. I have come across Nora the vending machine.
Oh my goodness!
That was the experience. What was that?
Did you impregnate her?
She wanted me to.
We did the weird tentacle thing.
Oh boy, that's. Have you been looking at my search history?
Actually, a thing.
I know, dude. It's
that was one of those moments where I turned on the volume because I was like, if somebody upstairs hears this,
you're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, it's got to be done now. And she just keeps going.
She does.
It's just like,
She's
shut
thirsty.
up, man. She really is.
I mean, your little hand buddy, Charles. Well, that's how he's like. My name is Charles, but the character's like Charles. It's like, don't go in there. Norris intense.
Dude, the main character of this game sounds like a real D-bag, huh?
Yeah, I think his name is Sergey.
Yeah.
A lot of people in our community are complaining about that, about how...
Yeah, CB was right with the Duke Nukem comparison, I would say, because I was getting that kind of vibe from Sergey.
Oh, really?
I didn't have a problem with him. I don't know. It didn't bother me.
I don't hate him or anything, but I get the Duke Nukem comparison from CB with that.
It's better than silent protagonist like in BioShock, which,
True.
By the way, how much does this feel like BioShock at the beginning?
It feels
of the game?
a lot like it. Like BioShock Infinite in particular.
Yeah. It even looks like BioShock Infinite.
It
does.
For someone who hasn't played it, that opening parade thing, seeing it in trailers, it just, it looks almost a carbon copy of BioShock Infinite.
Yeah.
It looks a lot like it, but it is stunning.
CB was right, though. The robots that, like, inevitably turn on you have, they're not real. They're very plasticky, but even when they're alive, they just kind of have this deadpan look on their face. There's like no emotion. And then when they're attacking you and they're having that same facial expression, like while they're like trying to beat you or something like that, it's pretty unnerving. I thought that was pretty well done.
They are creepy.
Yeah.
And you can't stealth them,
iRobot?
But I'm really bad at the stealth.
Yeah.
They always turn around right when I get to them. I'm like, no.
Reminds me of the movie iRobot when the one robot's rescuing him. He's like, "You were experiencing an accident."
Yeah.
I like that movie.
Sunny.
I still haven't seen that movie.
It's a good movie.
I think people love iRobot, right?
Do they? I don't know.
Yeah.
Everybody hates Will Smith now, so.
I downloaded Atomic Heart on my Xbox Series S.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll play it some. I want to play Plague Tale first, though, so I can finally play that.
There you
it's
go.
So good.
They both
Hopefully
look great.
You like it better than I did.
No.
Anyways, Alyssa, your last one, Dreamscaper. Is that Disney game?
No, I played this because Xbox was having a special, like, you get 500 points if you play a game with a powerful female character in it, and they had a list of games. I'm like, this looks cool, and this does tick off part of my roguelike resolution for the year. It's a really cool game. You play as a character named Cassidy, and when she goes to sleep, she is put in these, they're not dungeons, but the map is like a dungeon, but there are these areas that she's been to in the past, and there are enemies, and she remembers her memories there. She fights these enemies, and if you die, you wake back up in the real world, but then you're able to go to different places like a cafe. There's, I think, a library, and you can interact with people by talking to them or giving them gifts, and Cassidy has social anxiety, so by going into the sleep realm and going to the places she's been, you help her in the real world build relationships with people. It's just really unique, and it's actually fun, and it's not very punitive. Like, if you die, you do have to go back from the start, even if you're at a different level, but you keep the weapons you've accrued, the skills you've accrued, so you don't lose anything. You just have to go through the levels again, and once you beat the boss, you don't have to fight the boss again. It's really rewarding because you go through and you die and you're like, okay, I need to do this, and then you do that and you feel really powerful, and then you're just helping this woman overcome her fears in the real world as well. It's really interesting. A lot more layered and deep than I thought it would be, and I'm actually really enjoying it.
Very cool. Sounds interesting. And you get your 500 points for doing that, right?
And it is on Game Pass. So
nice. I got to do that. I got to go do whatever little like tasks you have to do to get points.
Yeah, once you get a certain
time.
amount of points, you can cash that in for gift cards to places or Xbox credit, stuff like that.
That's all I want. Give me some Xbox credit.
I got 200 bonus points on the Popeyes app for getting seafood. So
nice.
Just while we're throwing points in there.
I mean, points are always great.
Yeah.
Just,
Every place has them now.
Yeah, they do. They always want to make you go out of your comfort zone.
And we always go for the points because we have that Pavlovian response of we need the reward.
We're sheep.
I do not.
Yeah.
Because my Taco Bell app has been trying me to order a Mexican pizza for months, and I refuse.
Dude, they're good. You don't like them?
No, I like what I like.
I understand.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Hey,
I've never had a Mexican pizza, though. I need to try one.
They're okay. They're good. They're not... You're right. There's better things to get on the menu.
Yeah.
I like my my crunchy chicken chipotle burrito thing. That's like the best deal on the menu. If you haven't had those,
yeah, no, I'm with you. Except I like the beef version.
Oh, I didn't know there was. Oh, there's a beef version.
Yeah, dude. At least in my area, I guess. I don't know if it's regional or not, but
we better move on to the news before.
I think people like fast food talk.
I'm hungry. Oh well. Let's go ahead and talk about what happened this week in the world of news. Some new trailers to talk about. First off, we got a new one for The Expanse, a Telltale series that releases this summer. There was a trailer for Halo Infinite's third season, a game called Merge and Blade, which is available right now on Game Pass. A bunch of people are talking about that. I think it looks really interesting. And then lo and behold, Nintendo decided to let us know that Metroid Fusion will be coming to Nintendo Switch Online on March 9th, so check out those trailers. Also, Elden Ring is getting an expansion. The Wolf Among Us 2 has been delayed. Luminous Productions is once again going to be part of Square Enix. EA is asking some fans if they want a remake of Dead Space 2 and 3. And lastly, it looks like Counter-Strike 2 is actually happening, and a lot sooner than you might think. I don't know where to start. Let's start with Zach.
Well, I guess briefly, I'm excited for Metroid Fusion to come to the GBA service.
Too.
Because, I'm riding high on Metroid Prime right now.
The year of Metroid.
That's what I'm wondering. That's what I texted you when you texted me this news. I was like, is it going to be the year of Metroid? Which would be pretty cool if it was, just drip these games out, Metroid Fusion, then maybe in a month you get Metroid Zero Mission. You wait a couple months, you get Metroid Prime 2 Echoes remastered, etc. Then hopefully build up to a big Metroid Prime 4, release at the end of the year or the start of next year.
I mean, it would be kind of brilliant to do so.
I think so. They did a year of Luigi. Let's get a year of Metroid.
Yeah.
And
you're Samus.
Well, correct. But the franchise has never been riding higher than Metroid Dread, right?
That was very highly regarded by a lot of people.
Right, and I don't remember the worldwide sales, but I think in Japan, Metroid Dread sold better than every other Metroid game combined. So, Metroid Dread was this huge hit. So now is the time to strike.
I agree. And man, Metroid Prime 4, I just want so bad.
Well, now I don't want it until they put out 2 and 3 remastered because I want to be up on the goods.
I mean, but how long is it going to be before Metroid Prime 2 even gets remade? Like, it's just going to be forever.
Or they could just have them all done right now.
Oh, could you imagine? Oh,
that would be my guess. Hey, Retro, just remaster these games on the side while you're making it for.
Oh, you want us to package them all together? Oh, yeah. No, don't do that. No,
yeah, that'll be a great $60 offer for the fans. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. Anyway, every 3 months you're going to hit us for $40. And now I'm in. I'll absolutely buy Echoes. Especially you compared it to Majora's Mask, of course.
Well, I'm comparing it to Majora's Mask in the fact that I loved Ocarina of Time so much.
Right.
And the follow-up just felt disappointing to me because it did a bunch of mechanics that I don't personally like.
Right.
But you love it. So I just have this feeling that as much as, I finished it, I enjoyed it, but it just felt long in the tooth to me like Majora's Mask did. So I feel like it's going to be the same thing.
I guess the big difference is Majora's Mask is my favorite because of its hyper-focus on characters.
Right.
And I can't imagine Metroid Prime 2 has a whole lot of characters going on.
No.
It has a Dark Samus, right? Am I wrong about that?
There is a Dark Samus.
Okay, that's what I thought, yeah.
There's a whole dark world. Like, you are going back and forth between, like, 2 different dimensions of...
Do you turn into a bunny guy? Bunny gal?
No.
Didn't you turn into a bunny in Link to the Past? When you go the first time?
Oh, yeah. When you go to the dark world and
yeah.
Because you don't have the magic mirror. I was not making the connection.
I thought you were a Zelda fan, so
I do like Zelda games, man. I do like Zelda games. Oh, man. It's been a while since I replayed Link to the Past. Maybe it's time.
Right.
Maybe it's time.
That's your baby.
But yeah, the Metroid Fusion, I'm I'm a big talker because I saw this news and I went, yes, Metroid Fusion finally. I haven't touched Minish Cap yet, and that's been available for like a month. So
right, but you have Metroid momentum right now.
That's true. Maybe start there.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, now that I have it in my back of the head that this might be a year of Metroid, I'm like, well, now I kind of want to play them all as they come. And Metroid Fusion and Zero Mission are like 3 hours each.
Dude, Metroid Fusion's a lot longer than Metroid Zero Mission.
Well,
I remember Metroid Fusion being quite lengthy.
Okay, I'm sure my memory is betraying me. Zero Mission is like 4 hours long, right?
You're right. Zero Mission is pretty short, especially if you know what you're doing. If it's your first time playing, obviously you're not going to get through in 3 hours, but pretty short. Anyway, did you have a...
Oh, yeah, I guess I may as well be the Elden Ring guy, right?
Yeah. I expected that.
Shadow of the Erd Tree coming... Unbelievable! It's coming next year, right? That's
what they said. Yeah.
Let's see. I love Scott put on the format. Might be related to someone named Mikola. Dude,
I haven't played the game.
It's a major character. Is one of the gods. Mikola's a huge deal. If you remember Melania, Blade of Mikola, she was the sister of Mikola. And
twin sister, right?
I think so. Yeah, but he's deformed in the womb and stuff, so she's protected him all his life. Mm-hmm. But he's supposed to be this huge threat as well. So I'm intrigued. Yeah, I can't wait for Shadow of the Erd Tree. I think, so what was their official statement? Let's see. Rise tarnished and let us walk a new path together. An upcoming expansion for Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree, is currently in development. We hope you look forward to new adventures on the lands between. And I showed a picture that I'm sure has 2-3 hour long lore videos on it already.
Yeah.
A weird community.
Is that picture, is that person though?
Oh, I couldn't tell you. It looks like a naked person on the back of a horned horse.
It does.
I didn't realize.
Maybe
a naked person.
No, I think they might be wearing a dress now that I look closer. But the dress is skin color. Anyway, the point is, no, I don't know who that is or who it's supposed to be. It could be Mikola. Regardless, I'm excited for more Elden Ring. I think 2 years for an expansion. Like, why don't you may as well just call it a sequel, right?
Well, Elden Ring seems like one of those games that is so large that people were just plowed through. I mean, I haven't played it, so I can't speak to it, but it sounds massive, but people were beating it in like a month. So,
right,
I'm with you. Like, you would kind of expect this to come out quicker before interest wanes. I mean, it was all over every social media thing, even TikTok. There was just Elden Ring videos everywhere. So now, do you think this will be a paid expansion, or this will be like
100%?
Yeah.
It's got to be. If you're spending 2 years on it, you got to charge for it. And I understand that they sold like 25 million copies or something. It's the game is bigger than anyone could have ever expected. I think Call of Duty was the only thing that outsold it last year, it's weird to think of Elden Ring as this huge mainstream hit, but it is. And and I think Shadow of the Erd Tree is a great idea. I'm just worried about it taking too long. But on the flip side, From Software has made some of the best DLC ever, so it's
okay.
I'm not worried about its quality. The Bloodborne expansion was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, the Dark Souls 2 DLC was better than Dark Souls 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was great. All the content was excellent.
Nice. Alyssa, do you have a story you'd like to talk about?
Well, EA is asking some fans if they want a remake of Dead Space 2 and 3. Which,
we're good. No.
No, we just love this one so much. We're just done.
We're okay with just the Dead Space remake.
I mean, the common consensus, and I feel like we had the same discussion before, is that 2 definitely.
Oh, for sure.
Like to me, 2 was the better game on the original Xbox 360 anyway. Mm-hmm. So of course, remake that one. Can you imagine that scene in high def now? Like,
you're talking about an ocular activity?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. But 3 was one that I don't know. I feel like it could be done better, so I would be okay with it if they just kind of really tore it apart and made some good changes.
Yeah,
that was my thought. I actually kind of want a remake of 3 more because it needs more work. Mm-hmm. But you can't just remake Dead Space 3 without remaking 2, the best one.
Yeah,
right.
I do wonder how people would react to a Dead Space 2 remake because the way the game's designed is very linear. Mm-hmm. You're not exploring parts of the Ishimura over and over again. So I wonder if people would almost think it's a step back in that way because the Ishimura is so interconnected in the Dead Space 1 remake.
Right.
But I guess I'm sure they could rejigger it to try to make the sprawl connected or something.
Yeah, probably. I mean, they were able to make it because it wasn't that way in Dead Space 1.
No,
Dead Space 1 was pretty linear.
No, of course, but you still would go back to the medical center and stuff like that.
Right.
So it kind of had a structure where you could. It was easy to see how you could make it an interconnected map more so than a Dead Space 2.
Right.
However, yeah, I absolutely want a Dead Space 2 remake with the new actor, new actors for Nicole and stuff like that. And I just replayed Dead Space 2. It's still one of the greatest, action horror games ever.
If nothing else, I want to help fund a Dead Space 4, right? Like I just want
for sure.
a new game in the series. So yeah, we'll pay for it. We'll do it. Yes, please. Right. If you're listening, give it to us.
I'm on board. You could rewrite Dead Space 3 so heavily it could feel like Dead Space 4 because I don't care about the story of Dead Space 3 almost at all.
Although we are still going to do Dead Space 3 this Halloween, right?
Yes, yeah, the co-op.
Yeah.
We can watch the love triangle together.
Yes.
Which weirdly plays a huge role in this horror game.
It did.
So stupid.
Yeah. Boy. This is kind of a weird week. There's things that just aren't super interesting to me. I guess The Wolf Among Us 2 being delayed is news. I'm really kind of surprised by this one because I feel like we've been talking about Wolf Among Us 2 for a decade. I don't remember when the original released.
Well, it was on the PS3 and 360. So
I know I played it on PS3.
So yeah, maybe it has been a decade.
I want to say 2012, maybe even.
Wow. But yeah, we're not going to see that one until 2024. The reasons given were to avoid crunch, but also they're jumping from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5. And they're also working on another unannounced title as well. Plus, we already talked about the Telltale Expanse series, which is a show I've never watched, and apparently I need to.
I haven't watched it either, but I've heard so many amazing things about it.
Same here. Thomas Becks, our Ireland correspondent, as it were, has been trying to get me to watch that show for a while, and every time I try, I get distracted by something else. Ooh, a butterfly. Yeah. And but I promise Thomas I will watch that show at some point. So, but
I wonder why they feel the need to go from UE4 to UE5. Well, instead of just
the
taking
new hotness.
It's just weird because like even Star Wars Jedi Survivor is still on Unreal Engine 4, and it's not like that game's looking disgusting or anything.
Plus, is it like a Telltale game, a game that you expect to be in the best engine ever? Like
exactly, right?
Yeah, not the previous games at least.
I mean, you kind of expect the jank in those games at this point, don't you?
Yes, definitely. You want it to take a weird 10 seconds to load when you make your decision.
Right.
Yeah.
As the characters just stutter around, or else it's not going to feel like Telltale.
Or this awkward pause, while after you make a selection, and then, I'm talking.
So-and-so will remember that.
Right. Yeah, that's the most famous Telltale thing.
Yeah.
For me, this actually raises quite a bit of concern because this isn't the real Telltale.
No.
This is just a company that bought the name and the licenses.
Right.
So to me, I'm like, man, if they got to delay their first, step to the bat, that's not a good sign.
My big thing is it's been so long, and I don't know that I want to replay all of Wolf Among Us. I mean, right. I know that they're really easy to play and they're not super long, but I don't know if I want to play it all over again. Maybe like a good 10 hours or something.
Right.
I guess I could just watch a recap video or something like that. But
yeah, but you're right. They gotta re-release it on PS5 and Series X so you can take your saves forward.
Hey, I mean, if they're gonna give me new achievements, sure, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah,
and your choices forward.
That's what I'm saying. That's my concern.
Oh, that's a good point too. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to, aren't they? Because your choices in the first game mattered. So what are they gonna do?
I guess they could just say they don't matter if they want to.
Do the Mass Effect 2 thing and let you buy an extra DLC pack where you can make your choices, or
the Dragon Age thing where you could just go to a website.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the week's news, and we're gonna go ahead and move on before we get to our new games we've been talking about. I want to remind everybody that we are an independently funded podcast, and we ask for help from you guys via a Patreon page, and we have some extra bonus content available for everybody that subscribes there, including some bonus episodes. Most recently, we are doing the spoiler cast on the Last of Us HBO series. I will be back this week. I was out last week because I was being an old man at a metal concert. But
yeah, you were. It's true. I truly am the Last of Us.
by the time you hear this episode, we will have released the spoiler cast for episode 7, which is very exciting because Troy Baker looks like he's making an appearance, and I'm imagining some giraffes in our future. So there's going to be some.
Yeah, well, giraffe should be the episode after next, right?
You think so?
Yeah,
there's going to be a lot to wrap up in that last episode.
Not really. If you think about it, it's most of the ending of the game is just a huge gameplay section against an entire army.
Right.
Otherwise, you just kind of walk down the street, say hello to a giraffe, and then you're at the hospital.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm saying I feel like there's less there than people are remembering. To me.
I would make a wager with you, but you already owe me a steak dinner, so.
Right, yeah, and I'd hate to even it out to
I know,
steak.
right?
That wouldn't be exciting at all.
Because then we just wouldn't have dinner. Like, we wouldn't have any reason to get together. I'm just joking.
If you get this close to the end of the first game and don't finish it, that's honestly just kind of annoying.
Right. Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got those episodes. It'll be myself, John Davenport from the Hollywood Outsider, and John's friend Eli discussing the episode. And also our Beginner's Guide to D&D with Kevin Honigford is available on there as well. If you're at the $3 tier, you'll get a bonus episode. If you're at the $5 tier, you'll get 2 bonus episodes. So be sure to think about helping us out because it helps us keep the lights on here and helps us also do some giveaways.
Scott, so I'm sorry, you missed the last episode? The latest
I missed the episode 6, the Left Behind.
So you were left behind.
I was left behind.
Thank you. That's all.
By the way,
all I wanted to say.
Fun fact, I was in the minority of people that actually liked that episode. Everybody apparently really hated it.
Yeah, no, I thought it was fantastic. The people that didn't like it, I assume just never played the DLC, I guess, or
I didn't play the DLC. I watched the DLC.
Okay. I think a lot of people, especially online, my guy, I think people they have misremembered character development in television. I think everything is filler all the time now. People are like, "Oh, this is such filler." I'm like, "No, this is growth and showing you a character."
Yeah,
this is television.
It's showing you why Ellie's the way she is right now.
Right. Yeah, they're explaining why she refuses to leave Joel behind because she's lost everyone else. Like Joel will not be left behind, unlike Scott.
We do have some other episodes cooking as well. I'm actually getting together with CB tomorrow to hopefully do something for games that aren't for us or maybe a retro outsider. Zach, you and I are going to be doing a Break the Seal on Metroid Prime.
Is that we're categorizing it as a Break the Seal?
I mean, it's the first time you played that series, so I guess that's true. Yeah, falls in there. So,
well, Nintendo, help us out. Give us 3 Break the Seals to do this year.
Let's do it. I like it. If you'd like to help us out, though, it is patreon.com/thegocast. We would very much appreciate the support. Let's go ahead now and jump into the games that we've been playing. All right, Zach, what's new on the horizon this week that people can pick up?
Interesting VR game Before Your Eyes, where you blink to play, comes to PSVR 2 on March 10th. Motto Anomalies, which is a very weeb-tastic looking game, coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, Switch, and PC March 10th. Bleak Faith Forsaken, which couldn't look more like a Dark Souls game if it tried, coming to PC March 10th. That game looks cool because it's made by 3 guys.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yes. Justice League Cosmic Chaos is the only good-looking DC game left this year, and it's coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, Switch, and PC March 10th. Flash Out 3, if anybody is missing F-Zero, Flash Out 3 is your answer. It is an anti-grav racing game. Coming to Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, March 11th.
Game Pass?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm not here to do marketing for Xbox. Rough Justice 84 coming to PC March 13th. This game is on Game Pass, Scott. Valheim, the Norse survival game, comes to Series X and Xbox One March 14th. Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure fills in a big gap in that franchise, and it's coming to PS4, Switch, PC March 14th. That game is notable and cool because they actually paid the fan translators to use their copy as a starting point. Which is super cool. The Wreck comes to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, Switch, and PC March 14th. Anno 1800, a PC God game, comes to PS5 and Xbox Series consoles March 16th. Post Void makes its way to PS4 and Switch March 16th. And the Dark Pictures Switchback VR comes to PSVR 2 March 16th. Alyssa, what are you excited about on this list?
I've got 2, and can you guess?
Is The Wreck one of them?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that looks like your cup of tea.
The weeb-tastic one.
Yes. Those two.
So Alyssa's tastes are either Oscar bait or weeb.
That's me. But yes.
Also her nickname in college. Oscar bait or weeb.
Actually, I wasn't really well known in college, so. But now you can call me Oscar bait and weeb if you want to.
All right.
Yeah, I'd like to nibble on that bait. So what do we? Is that too much, Scott? Scott's face looked disgusted. Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah, sure.
Scott's face is as red as mine is. I think it's redder, actually.
Scott took some kind of note. Now I'm concerned he's going to report me to the authorities or something. Anyway, Scott, what are you excited about on this list?
Not much. I'm going to be playing catch up. I'm actually going to play that. I forgot the name of the game. We mentioned it in the trailers. That new one, Merge and Blade. I'm going to check that one out. I don't know if you watched the trailer for that, but
yes, that looked super Scott.
It just looks interesting. Like you play a little match 3 puzzle game to create your army, and then you go into battle. So I'm more interested in that than anything on this list. Although, if I had a PSVR 2, I would be playing Before Your Eyes because I just think that whole concept.
It's such a good game.
Yeah,
it looks great.
Unfortunately,
I
don't have that hardware, and I'm not going to spend $700 to play a $10.
You can play it on PC. I don't know if you can play it on Steam Deck though. That's probably not, but maybe I don't know.
I mean, it's got a camera,
so you might could play on the Steam. Might could Southern.
I might could. I used
slip
to could,
and I catch myself every time when I say I might could or you might could.
There's an old Jeff Foxworthy bit. He's like, "Can you dance?" Well, I used to could. That's what you remind me of.
The Southern just slips out sometimes when I speak.
I think
it's
that's
all right,
acceptable.
Alyssa.
I'm all about Cowboys now, so that's fine. I think for me, Bleak Faith Forsaken would probably be very exciting if it was on PS4. It's supposed to come to PS4 and Xbox One later, but it's only on PC right now. So for me, it's got to be Justice League Cosmic Chaos, which is it looks like a super kid friendly DC game. You play as Wonder Woman. Batman.
No
it
Green
looks
Lantern.
Adorable though.
No Green Lantern. You're absolutely correct, Scott. Thanks for pointing that out.
That sucks.
Well, it's a little disappointing because they use the word Justice League, but it's actually only the Trinity. It's only 3 people.
Right.
So it's a little bit of
the Green Lantern slander of these people. Jeez.
It's a little bit of a misnomer. I would love to be excited for Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure because this is like Trails in the Sky and Trails of Cold Steel. It's the same franchise. And I just really wanted to get into this franchise, which I've been saying the entire time we've been doing this podcast. So I guess I must not really want to get into this franchise because I never find the time.
I would like to get into it as well, but like you, I've never done it. So.
There's too much stuff coming out, man.
It is. It's like 80 hours. Like every game is 80 hours of mostly reading.
They're very big commitments.
Yeah, but it sounds so exciting, almost like the MCU of JRPGs because they're all in the same universe, and each different Trails branch has a different protagonist and characters, but sometimes they cross over into each other's games, and it's all the same universe and continent and time period. I don't know. It sounds cool as hell because the villains of one game are the protagonists of the next.
It does sound really cool.
But yeah, there's too many games out there.
There's way too much. I've been sitting on a copy of Modern Warfare 2 for how long now that I've been talking about playing that, and every time I'm like, I finish Metroid Prime, and I'm like, all right, good, I can get into Call of Duty. Got a code for next game we're going to talk about.
Right.
Guess I'm playing that now.
And Modern Warfare 2 is only like 6 hours long.
I know, right? Well, this game is only about 7, so I should be okay, but...
Okay. Hey, Modern Warfare is great. So, Scott, you've been playing... Was it Pronty?
Pronty.
It's a very unusual name.
I don't like the name. I'm going to be straight right up off the bat.
Does it mean anything in the game itself?
It's just the name of the main character.
You know what? They should have spelled it like prawn, like, the seafood.
I wonder if that's what they're going for because this is an underwater gear-gated game, so I kind of...
But it's not spelled that way. It's spelled Pronty.
Right. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of the name because I keep misspelling it whenever I type it. I'm like Plonty or Prondy. So I have an issue, but that's just a personal thing. But
it's a gear-gated underwater game, huh?
Yeah, and it's not the first time I've played a game like this. There have been others like this where like you're not just running and jumping, you're actually like swimming through water or flying through the air. But this one mechanically works a little bit different because your character is not actually firing a weapon herself. She has a companion robot fish that kind of looks like a spear, and you kind of tell him to go wherever you want. So it works like a twin stick shooter type deal.
Okay.
And you point him in the direction, but because of it not being a weapon being fired from you, it is wherever he is located, he will go in the direction from that last location where he was.
Oh boy, that seems like it would take some getting used to in your brain.
It does, because you're not, I'm used to twin stick shooters where you just kind of go in one direction and you just, it doesn't work like that. So it takes some time. And credit to the developers, because they try to do something different with this formula, because you can tell they said, people have played this type of game before, but what can we do different? And I like what they did. It just takes a while to wrap your head around it. So you you learn new abilities as you go. The first one being a dash. But then once you get the dash, you have the ability to dash through enemies, which then marks the enemies. So when you attack, and if you attack them while they're marked, it does more damage. So that becomes a strategy, which is pretty cool. There's 3 other main abilities that I've gotten so far. One kind of creates a shield that will deflect projectiles back to enemies, which is handy. Like there are some lasers that you can't cross, so you have to deflect their own projectiles back to them.
So the gear both adds to your combat and allows you to explore more.
Correct.
That's cool.
There's one that allows you to dash forward, but also shrink down, so you can fit through narrow spaces that you couldn't before. So that's definitely a Metroid kind of thing. It's really clever. You're fighting these bosses that are all like underwater creatures, giant fish, sharks, jellyfish, serpents, that kind of thing. And they're all cleverly designed, but it's standard. Just memorize the pattern, get out of the way, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's just they get tough. They're pretty tough. So the thing that I almost feel like it's unfair for me to review this game right after finishing Metroid Prime Remastered, because I miss the isolation of Metroid Prime. I know you talk about how in Metroid Prime you wish there was more story. Uh-huh. I love the fact that there's nobody to talk to in Metroid. I seriously love that. I love that I'm just given the freedom to explore and figure things out for myself. I'd scan some stuff or whatever to learn, but it's all me doing that stuff. In Pronty, I feel like there's exposition all the time, and I'm like, I could have figured that out on my own. I don't need the hand-holding of my little robot, and it's kind of cutesy in a way. Explaining. I feel like I'll come into a room and I'm just ready to go explore the room and kind of figure things out, and all of a sudden it does this cutscene, and all the dialogue is text driven, and I have to read it and everything like that. So it's not a bad thing. I just feel like I'm so used to the previous game, so maybe I'm being overly critical, but I
think there's got to be a nice balance, between the two. But if you want a story in your get a game, if you're a developer, but yeah, it almost sounds annoying the way they're doing it.
It is to me, but I think it's just a personal thing, because apparently I'm in the minority. People are just raving about this game, and I'm not knocking it. It's a very well made game, and it's fun, and it's really cool to explore. They actually allow you to fast travel around, which I feel like that's something you can't do like in Super Metroid.
Right. I respect every game that doesn't let me fast travel.
Right.
That's my sensibilities.
In this one, you actually have to pay a currency in order to fast travel, because every save point that you come across has like a little hatch that you can unlock to allow you to fast travel around the map, but it costs currency. There are unlockables unlockables, but like these little chips that you can kind of install, but you're limited to how many chips you can have available at one time. You can earn more as you progress through the game. But it doesn't work like a skill tree. It works more like you just choose which ability you want. Like, this certain circuit allows me to see my enemy's level of health. This circuit allows me to absorb the currency. It just comes automatically to me instead of me having to go collect it. This one allows my cooldown of my my weapon to be much faster. Things like that. So you kind of have to play this juggling game about which abilities you really want. Some of them cost 2 or even 3 circuits to use, so you have to kind of play this game of risk versus reward. But it's pretty great. I'm liking it. It's according to how long to beat, it's 7 hours. And according to the map, I've seen 42 or 43% of the map, and I've put maybe 3 or 4 hours into it. So it's a game that I'm enjoying the more that I'm sitting down and playing consistently. I worry that if I were to take a break from it for a day or two and try to come back to it, I'm going to be completely lost. Because some of the abilities that they do it in such a way that is not standard gear-gated fare. Like, for instance, I just unlocked an ability that allows me to just press a button and switch places with my robot fish.
Okay.
Which, you just kind of just do it, but that becomes a strategy because certain these little elements or things in the water have to be electrified, so you have to kind of put yourself near that to do that ability to electrify that. But I either was not paying attention or I didn't explain it well, and it took me forever to figure out how to actually do that. So, but I feel like I would forget that stuff because it's not your typical like, oh, I just got a super missile. I need to shoot a super missile at a super missile door. You know what I mean?
It sounds kind of clever in that way, right? Like trying to do new things. Yeah.
Yeah. I really do appreciate it. And I appreciate that it is a shorter length that I've, in a half a day, I got, saw half the map. I just like that a gear-gated game like this doesn't have to be 15 hours. And I say that as a guy that just finished a 15-hour gear-gated game, but,
right.
Also had nostalgia glasses with that one. So Pronty, I am digging it. I will probably have it finished next week. But like I said, about halfway through it and really digging it. It's very interesting how the dialogue is very tongue-in-cheek and trying to be humorous, but the story seems weirdly serious. Like you are an underwater creature that is considered like a guardian or something like that, and you're protecting the human race, and it takes place in like 2432 or something like that. And you wake up the day after your birthday when you're old enough to be a recruit in the army for this thing, and you have to go through a training exercise, and then all hell breaks loose, and now you're the only guardian left. And then you come across a robot that like is a cleanup robot and is blaming you for everything happening, and it's very weird sense of humor that it's not funny, it just feels out of place for this world. I don't know.
I understand, yeah.
It's interesting, but it was originally a PC game. It's just getting a port to Switch, so you can play it on Steam or you can play it on Switch as well. Again, the game is called Pronty, Pronty. Alyssa,
yes,
you are playing a game called Ken Follett's The Pillars of the Earth, and I know you were a visual novel aficionado, which is why I sent you this trailer and asked if you wanted to check this one out. But I gotta say, as much as I don't play these games, this one looks, from a visual and animation standpoint, looks stunning. It looks like I'm watching a high-level hand-drawn animated cartoon, like a feature film level of animation. Does that hold true through the whole game, or is this just done for the trailer?
Oh, the game is beautiful. Hand-drawn animation. I've only played the prologue in Chapter 1. This is a lengthy game.
Oh, really?
It is not a visual novel, actually.
Oh, my bad.
It is more of a point-and-click adventure game.
Gotcha.
But it's very simple. It's not anything that's gonna... Like, the puzzles are very easy. The story is incredible. I have not read the book that this is adapted from, but it has made me want to read the book. Because just from the little bit I've played, the story is fascinating. And it kind of gives me Game of Thrones vibes. Not with, like, politics or anything of that nature, but just how dark it goes, and then the environments themselves remind me of Game of Thrones.
How does it treat sibling love?
I have come across siblings. They did not have any kind of, relations of that nature.
Okay.
So, nothing to worry about on that front so far. But again, I've got a lot of game to play. It's fascinating, though. I've loved what I've played so far. But again, this was originally split into 3 different parts, and it's been combined into one game, and each is called a book. So I'm on book 1, and book 1 encompasses the prologue and chapters 1 through 7 of the novel. And I've only played through the prologue in chapter 1. So I've got a ways to go. But I'm really enjoying it. It's just the story. You're playing it for the story.
Okay. Well, I mean, which I'm not surprised coming from you because you love those story-driven games. You know, I mean, you play visual novels, which have very little gameplay. It's usually like dialogue choices. But how are you enjoying the transition going from visual novel to like? Because I don't even remember you playing a point-and-click game, or at least a traditional one.
I wouldn't say this is a traditional one by any means. It's very natural feeling to me.
Oh, okay.
You do make some dialogue choices, but they don't pop up that often. And that also makes me want to read the book because I wonder how choosing certain dialogue options strays from the narrative of the book. But every choice feels natural. You can choose whichever one you want, and some seem more black or white than others. Others seem like you're making a bad choice or a good choice on either. It's just really interesting, and yeah, I didn't expect a video game to make me want to read the source material from the beginning as soon as I started the game up. Because
I've never even heard of the book.
It starts off and that opening.
Brutal?
Really?
Yeah, it's brutal.
Nice.
I'm intrigued. I mean, if it even smells like Game of Thrones, I'm mildly interested.
Oh yeah,
so.
it's got some tinges.
Okay.
So I think you would actually like it.
Okay.
Yeah, this game has been out on PS4 and Xbox for a couple of years now, right?
It has. It just was recently ported to Switch.
Okay, I was just making sure. I feel like I'd heard the name before. I definitely didn't know it was a book.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a book, but I think it's a pretty lengthy one. I think it's over 1,000 pages long.
Sure. I mean, the Game of Thrones books are super short, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, novellas even.
Yeah.
I will say though, one thing I've noticed in both docked and handheld mode playing on the Switch, the characters, when they speak before the dialogue is said, and their mouths are still moving after the dialogue ends, so you get that Godzilla effect. I'm like, oh, the mouths are moving before and after the dialogue has started and finished. So
do you think that's a loss in translation kind of thing?
Possibly. I don't know why it would be doing that otherwise, unless they just didn't care enough to match, but I feel like they would because there's a lot of people love the source material. And some of the cutscenes are a little jittery at times. It'll be smooth and then become jittery, and then it'll smooth back out.
So it almost sounds like the mouth thing might be a Switch performance issue.
It could be.
Yeah.
Since I haven't played it on a console, I can't say if it's better.
Well, it doesn't look like a game that should stutter and jitter to me.
It could very well just be a Switch performance issue.
That's my feeling.
Interesting. So that is Ken Follett's The Pillars of the Earth on Switch, but like Zach said, it's been on PS4 and Xbox for a while, so you can play it there as well. But yeah, coming to Switch in the near future. And there you have it.
And Scott, we're pivoting away from gaming kind of a little bit, but you watched a movie called PInball, The Man Who Saved the Game. Now, I saw the trailer for this, and it does actually look really interesting, and knowing how much you love pinball, how was this?
It's so difficult for me to review this movie and convince anybody of its quality because I just assume people are going to be like, well, it's a pinball movie, Scott's going to love it, right? But this was genuinely, I was surprised by how high quality of a film this was. I actually was able to go to an advanced screening of the movie on at the Beloit International Film Festival. It tells the story of Roger Sharp, who is a legend in the pinball world. He's the guy that actually fought the state of New York to lift a 35-year ban on pinball because they considered it, quote, illegal. You kind of learn a little bit of the history of that. It was just more or less a political move, just trying to score good points to gain votes.
And they thought it was, or they claimed it was gambling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though you don't win anything.
Yeah.
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 In pinball, like you don't, I mean, you can win a free game, I guess, but I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it's a really interesting story, but the way it's told is so clever because it's not a documentary. It's actually told like in biopic fashion. But the guy that they got, Dennis, and I cannot pronounce his last name, but he was in Better Call Saul. I don't know if you guys remember that. He was one of the attorneys. He plays the older version of Roger, not Roger. It is Roger. He plays the older version of Roger Sharp, and then Mike Faist plays the younger version of Roger Sharp. And they just do this really cool fourth wall breaking deal where the older version is kind of walking around the set of the younger version and talking to you, the audience member, about what's happening in the scene. But then they'll cut every once in a while to like an interview where he's looking over the shoulder, like Office style, and talking to the camera. And it's just really great because it's a story about what he did with the pinball world, but that's only like half of the story, because half of the story is how he met his wife, whom he's still married to. And so there's a little bit of a love story going on there as well. And it's really kind of cute because like he'll be telling the story in the interview, and you can hear the interviewer off camera go, "Well, you want to talk about pinball?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, we'll get to it. Don't worry." Like you can just tell he's just more interested in telling the story about his wife. So it's a really, really great movie. It comes out on March 17th. It's I think $13 on iTunes or whatever they call it now. Is it still iTunes? I know they changed Apple Podcasts or it used to be. Anyway, highly recommend it. I actually got to meet Roger himself. He was there with his wife, Ellen, and that was kind of a cool moment. So fingers crossed. I talked to him afterwards and asked him to come be a guest on the show, and he agreed to it. So hopefully we'll be hearing from him in the near future.
Yeah, so meeting your heroes doesn't always go wrong.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome.
I think the movie also has an incredibly limited theatrical release. At least that's what I was seeing when I was reading around.
Yes, it is getting very limited, but it is coming to theater as well. And I don't know I don't know if you guys have ever been to like an independent film festival, but I have, and they're very hit or miss. You know, some of them are very, very indie. You know what I mean? And I'm not knocking independent filmmakers because I can't do it. But you know, you watch a movie and you can tell it has a low budget. This is a lower budget movie, although they got some Hollywood actors. The Mike Faist, I believe, was in the recent version of West Side Story, and he does a great job as well too. So, but this one, like I would not have been upset if I went to see this in like a regular theater and paid the money to see it. It's really, really good, and not just because it's about pinball. It is a fascinating story, but it's very well told and funny. I laughed out loud. The audience laughed out loud more than one occasion, and it's really good. I actually already pre-ordered it. I liked it that much. So yeah.
I mean, I love the trailer was super cool. Just seeing the way that they do that. Yeah, like they mix a confessional documentary style interview with seeing the recreation, as it were. It's just it's a super cool look, and I'm sure somebody's had to have done that before, but it looks very fresh.
It felt fresh. Like I think we've seen all those ideas done independently, but seeing them all together just worked in a way that I was not expecting, and it was really, really good. And it's only like a 90-minute movie. Can we bring back 90-minute movies?
Oh yeah, I miss 90-minute movies.
You know, people say that, but then I look at most of the movies. It was like the 90s was the 90-minute movie era, but then everything else really was like a 2-hour movie era.
Mm-hmm.
That's true, yeah.
Or now like Avatar, 3 hours and 10 minutes or whatever. Like I don't want to go to the theater for 3 hours, man.
I do, if you can justify it.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are the games and movies that we've been checking out. Before we head on to our topic for the week, I want to do some quick housekeeping and remind everybody about ways that you can interact with us, the Gaming Outsider, on social media. First off, Facebook. We've got facebook.com/groups/the GoCast. We would love for you to join the community over there. I do my best to keep it up to date with news, even funny memes, things like that, or every episode, so you can kind of keep updated there. And we got a whole list of people this week that joined. I'm just going to read it. I don't care. New members over in the Facebook group. Welcome, Kaylin Hess, Ryan Weisner, Brian Capes, John Hughes, Skylar Glovier, Melina Bistignelli, Garrett King, Alex Uftos, Beji Malo, David Delahanty, Nicholas Townsend, Star Thamavong, Ian Huff, Jonathan Gosler, Nathaniel Johnson, Christina Johnson, Eye of the Night, Ethan Snyder, Andrew Hade, Josie D'Onofrio, Luis Galvin, and Brandon Stepp. I believe we have Aaron Hughes to thank for inviting all of his family to our Facebook group. That's awesome. Hope you guys are enjoying the community and enjoying the podcast, as it were. We've got a couple new Discord members as well, someone that goes by the name of Sandman, and then Eric, Arik. He's actually the developer of game that Spencer talked about last week called Another Bar Game. He's a super cool dude. It was really nice I've been chatting with him like in DMs and stuff, and he just seems like a really nice guy. So be sure to welcome him if you see him over there. Also, do us a favor, drop us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. If you drop one on Apple Podcasts, we will read it on the show, and it helps us get the word out a little bit about the podcast. Lastly, our website is thegamingoutsider.com. There you can find all of our episodes, any editorials we do, and all of our written content. Spencer's written review for Another Bar Game is up there. Alyssa's review of Saint Maker is there. And I've also got written reviews for Metroid Prime Remastered, as well as the movie I just talked about, Pinball, The Man Who Saved the Game. So do us a favor, check out thegamingoutsider.com and check out what we've put together there. But for now, we're going to go ahead and get into our From the Outside In topic. For this week's topic, we once again asked our community to provide us with some questions and talking points to incite some interesting conversations. We haven't done this in a couple months, and I always look forward to it. As usual, you guys all delivered, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. Zach, why don't you start off with our comments from Facebook?
Oh, sure. And what I love is that I have a great answer for this one. Destiny Stevens, what is the best game you have played on the Steam Deck so far?
You haven't, right?
No. Nope. I mean,
besides Vampire Survivors? I mean...
Right. Well, that was my thought. The Steam Deck, isn't it just what's the best PC game you've played?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Isn't that the question?
I mean, it doesn't play everything, I guess. Is like,
yeah.
I mean, there's something to be said for a game that can be... that makes sense to be played portably. Like when we always say, like, this would be a great game on Switch. How many times have we said that?
Sure.
Like, what would be a PC game that would translate well to playing remotely? I haven't played a ton. I downloaded Control. I haven't played it. I just got it back from CB, to be fair. So I like this past Thursday, I finally got it back. I did buy Enslaved: Odyssey to the West.
Hell yeah!
It was on sale for $250, and I was like,
"That's a steal."
I have to. Zach, do you still own a copy of that game?
I do.
That might be worth going back and doing a retro reminisce, because man, I just remember that game being so special.
I'm there.
Let's do it. I mean, outside of that, I'm trying to think of even what I played. That desktop simulator is a cool demo of a whole bunch of features of the Steam Deck that I will probably never ever use again.
Oh, the Aperture Desktop?
Yeah. So I apologize, Destiny. I haven't played a ton on it. I know, which is a crazy thing to say, that I paid $500 for a Steam Deck that I've used to play Vampire Survivors portably. But I have many good intentions, but it's been out of my hands for months. What about you, Alyssa? You've been playing it more than I have.
I still haven't played a lot, which I should, but I would say my favorite so far has been Saint Maker, because, as you well know, that was my first 10 out of 10 review.
That's right. Saint Maker changed your life.
Yeah, it was great on the Steam Deck. It was beautiful.
I mean, I feel almost obligated to play a game when somebody reviews it as a 10 out of 10. So I kind of like just to see. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I feel the same way about Saint Maker.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
And it's going to be on Switch on March 22nd, I believe. They moved the date.
All right, cool. Yeah, because I'm definitely not I haven't played a PC game in, oh boy.
Is it on other consoles or no?
Long time. It'll
Not
be on Switch,
yet, until
March 22nd.
March 22nd. They had
No,
to delay
I meant
it.
like Xbox or PS4. Is it?
No, just handheld devices right now.
Okay.
It's all right. This guy doesn't apparently pay attention when you talk, Alyssa.
No,
It's
I
okay.
heard her say Switch. I want to know if I can get some achievement points, man.
I know
That's
Zach.
all I wanted to know.
Zach listens to me.
That's right. Attentive.
God's face.
Alyssa, you are up.
Okay. Brian Lewis writes, you can pick one Quentin Tarantino movie to make into a game except Reservoir Dogs. Also, what's your favorite alcoholic beverages?
Wait, Quentin Tarantino movie? Let's see. Let's go down. We've got Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, so your Reservoir Dogs already had a video game.
Right.
And you have Pulp
Kill
Fiction,
Bill
Jackie
would be
Brown, Kill Bill.
incredible.
Kill Bill seems like the easy answer.
That
right?
Yeah, that's the most obvious thing, because it's all this plot structure
Yeah.
is already that of a video game.
Right. There's just bosses, then you have to fight through to get to the boss and kill
Yeah,
the
it's
boss and then
already-
go to the next boss.
Right, she's Mega Manning her way around the U.S.
Pretty much.
You know? because they each kind of have their own themed areas
They
too,
do.
right?
Right.
Like the Lucy Liu character is almost like an anime action movie.
That was
And then,
incredible.
Michael Madsen in the desert is kind of this slower, Western style adventure. So yeah, it's already a video game.
Mm-hmm. What else we got? Django Unchained.
The
Right.
Hateful Eight.
Glorious Bastards, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, right? Or are we missing one?
Jackie Brown, which
Jackie
I haven't
Brown.
watched. That's the only one I haven't watched. And also,
I thought I said Jackie Brown.
Death Parade.
Oh yes, yeah, not it's not Death Parade, but
Death Parade.
no, it's
Wait,
not
no, it's not Death
Proof.
Parade.
Death Proof.
Death Proof. I'm thinking
Right.
of an anime when I was thinking
Well,
No, yeah. So
Was that just him?
Death
I thought that
Proof.
was a collaboration.
No, Death Proof was him. Planet Terror was
Yeah.
Robert Rodriguez.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
part
Yeah,
of the Grindhouse collection.
Right.
How would you
but-
make Death Proof? It would have to be like a Telltale game, right?
No, Death Proof. You can almost make it like it'd be like a car action game. You got like Spy Hunter,
Mm-hmm.
except instead of like shooting, evil agents, you're trying to murder women in your car by banging them around.
Well,
Like
that
an
just
arcade
sounds
game. Go for
not PC
high
for
score.
this generation.
You get combo points if you like drift and kill a woman and throw her out of your car as you scoop up another woman into your car. Think about that.
That
That'd be
was
pretty
pretty
cool.
ridiculous. I actually like
movie's
Death.
awesome.
I like the other one better, Planet Terror, but that wasn't.
I did as well, to be honest.
Yeah, they're both. I mean, the
Cracked
whole
me up.
project was super cool.
What was the other one that we were talking about? Not Pulp Fiction, not Django. Once Upon a Time. What was the other one? Help me out.
He's only made 9.
Uh,
I don't know which one you're talking about.
Not Hateful Eight.
Inglourious
Inglourious
Bastards.
Basterds?
Inglorious Bastards would outside of the obvious choice of Kill Bill, because like you said,
Mhm.
it's already set up. Inglorious Bastards, because it's just always fun to kill Nazis.
It is.
Like-
Sure.
Yeah,
You
that'd
did it.
that'd be good.
Yeah, Kill Bill's the obvious one. I almost want to say like a Hateful Eight conversation simulator
Like
I mean, that could be
again,
a good, kind
adventure
of
game.
survival horror game. Actually, they're all locked in the cabin together, and you have to survive.
I'm seeing it as a pixelated point and click adventure, where you can search all the cupboards and stuff and find clues towards the other guys, and then like confront them with evidence that you found about. Hey, you said you came here just last night, but I see this travel document. You were here 3 days ago. And you can kind of confront them.
Dun.
Then you find
Yeah.
the key to the cellar, and then Channing Tatum pops out.
I forgot about that moment, but now yeah.
Do that. I'm saying, I think it could work as a pixelated point and
could.
click. Oh,
Press X to say what one more time.
Oh man, I gotta rewatch that movie.
That scene is so good.
It is.
What's your alcoholic beverage of? Well, Scott's beer, right?
I mean, I love beer, but that's a boring answer. I love IPAs. Actually, I've been getting into the.
Is there more
milkshake.
white guy an answer than the IPA?
Yeah, I still do like IPAs, but I've had a couple milkshake beers this past week that are really good. The ones that are flavored like raspberry. It's really good.
I've never even heard of this.
I've heard
Oh.
of them. Yeah.
They're a little thicker. They've got a very rich, like chocolatey taste or fruity taste.
Like a stout?
Not quite as thick as as a stout, but kind of halfway between a porter and a stout.
Okay.
They're really good. Usually a high ABV, but
You still doing your app, your beer app?
yes, I am.
Oh,
Still
you have
doing
a beer
my-
app?
I do.
God.
It's called Untapped.
What
It's
do you like 10,000 beers that you tried or something like that?
No, not 10,000. I'm up to about a little under 2,400 different beers that I've tried.
You have tried more beers than comic books I own in my collection
Wow.
because I have an app
Yeah.
for that. That's a lot of beer.
2,346 different beers that I've tried, and I've logged them all with like different. You can rate them on a score of 1 to 5, and you can
Mhm.
do it up to a quarter point for each one. So
Does
And
it
you
keep
get to-
does it keep stats for you? It's like, hey, actually, like through May and June, you love stouts.
Make it like the letterboxed of
Yeah.
beer.
Well, I see there's a graph. I wonder how granular it got with the information.
I haven't took a deep dive into it. I just like having a record. So like if I go somewhere, I can be like, have I had this beer before? Did I like it? And then make that determination if I want
There's
to
got
try
to
it
be.
again.
Is there a search function for what you've tried? Because it seems
Yeah.
hard to scroll through 2,300 beers.
No, there's definitely a search function, and it should
Okay.
when you look up a beer, it'll tell you how many times you've checked in with this beer, and
Oh, okay.
that's pretty cool. So yeah, I definitely love beer, but I am, if I have a choice, Irish whiskey is my Irish whiskey neat, to be
Oh, okay.
specific. I do not like my ice cubes in it. I like it room temperature, as God intended.
As
but,
God intended.
Yeah, my friends are more bourbon guys, but I have always been Irish whiskey. There is a Irish whiskey that I found at a cigar shop here in town years ago, and I have not been able to find it. If anybody can find it, even though I won't be able to spell it for you, it's pronounced Ishibaha. It is, and it's, don't even try to phonetically. It doesn't even make any sense. Like, it is the smoothest Irish whiskey I've ever had. Dangerous. Like, I need to find some, and I just can't find it without importing it. So if anybody finds it or knows where it is, let me know, because I love it. What about you guys?
I actually don't drink. I am currently 505 days sober.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Well, I can't
Don't
make a
drink.
joke about that. That's not fun.
You can make a joke. I don't care.
No.
You make a joke.
Yeah.
Won't hurt my feelings.
Okay.
I make jokes about myself all the time. It's fine.
I can't do it.
Yeah, I made a funny TikTok about CB.
I was like, please roast me. And Scott's like, what am I going to say? You're far too pretty?
Yeah. How do you roast Alyssa? She
You can
giggles
make
too
fun
much.
of my anime likes or the fact that, I giggle too much or...
My problem is, like, because I want to make videos for our TikTok, but I'm just not clever at coming up with an idea. But I saw that Nicolas Cage.
I made one of those as well.
That meme is everywhere, all over TikTok, and I just like that is totally the face I'm giving CB when he doesn't finish a game, and that's the face he makes when he's playing Hogwarts.
The Pedro Pascal face from The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
I haven't seen that movie. I need to watch.
It's amazing.
Is it in the car when he's like upset
Yes.
and Pedro? Okay. Yeah.
Well, I think they're both high, aren't they?
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I think they both took... I forget what it was, but they both took something, and Nicolas Cage is just very, like, serious looking, and Pedro's just laughing and wide-eyed, and...
It's good.
Yeah, well, I guess for me, I like a wheat whiskey. I'll do a neat or with whiskey stones, either way. I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason to when I go one way or the other. I just like them both.
I respect the whiskey stones. That is better than ice.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they don't melt. They don't.
Right.
That's why I didn't like ice. But
you can't like go to a bar and order. Can I get a straight whiskey with whiskey stones in it? They're not going to give you.
You bring my whiskey stones from home.
Like,
You
that's
get like
too fancy.
pre-frozen.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
And there's just something that, I don't know. It feels kind of cool owning whiskey stones. You're like, I take this whiskey seriously.
I
think you're cool for it.
Thanks.
I think you're cool regardless.
Well, I do too.
Okay,
I have
guys.
double paned whiskey glasses so that like
Oh,
the heat of your hand actually doesn't affect the temperature of the whiskey in the glass too. Like
that's cool. I
Oh,
want
you
that.
both are fancy.
Yeah, dude, I want that. If I go to a bar, I'm usually ordering an old fashioned though.
why did old fashions become like so insanely popular the past like 5-10
Have they?
years? Yeah,
Okay.
like old fashioned was an old drink from like the 60s. And then
Right.
it just
I
got
think it was
super
a-
popular recently.
Old fashioned. I think it was America's first cocktail, and that's why it's called the old fashioned.
Oh, is it?
I always liked it because every bar in every region has like a different spin on it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of because I'm a
Wisconsin
whiskey.
is brandy.
Yeah, and I like brown liquor, so it's a fun way to try. It's a fun way to try. Everybody's different take on it. I guess.
Yeah. Go to different bars and see how they do it.
Right, and then some people make it like super sweet, and I just want to puke it up in their face.
I actually went to the winery up in Wisconsin that I go to once a month, and they had a wine old fashioned, which it's not a normal old fashioned, but it was around Christmas time too. So they put like it was probably way too sweet for you, but it was made with wine instead of liquor, and they actually had marshmallows in it and stuff like that. It was like
That does sound...
it was really good.
See,
So-
but even still, I do want to like try that because it's a fun, unique spin. Almost like you want to try all your beers. I want to try all the old fashions.
Yeah,
I didn't
There you
realize
go.
it was popular, and now I don't like them anymore.
Oh,
So,
you're such a hipster. I liked old fashions before they were cool.
I definitely don't want to say that. But
I mean, you did, but
right, but I can't say it. Otherwise, it makes me an asshole.
All right, next one on Facebook comes from Sean Coates. He says, so I recently took a deep dive into the C-SPAN archives
Dude,
and rewatched in full the 1993 Senate hearings on violent games, which eventually led to the creation of the ESRB. My question is, did your parents pay any close attention to the rating system when buying your games? If so, what were some examples of games you remember wanting to play but couldn't because of the rating and your parents said no? Bonus question, did you ever find a way to play any of these games behind their backs?
after a hard day's work, who doesn't love to come home and watch 30-year-old news footage?
We love you, Sean.
We love you. Yeah, we
do. That's just a hilarious sentence.
I want to know who watches C-SPAN. Like, why is like?
Let alone
it's on all the time. Like,
the
who is that?
30-year-old version of it.
Yeah.
I don't understand anybody who's watching 24-hour news anymore. Like, what are you doing with your life?
It's just repeating anymore, and all it is politics. There's not even like anything.
90% of any news I see anymore is, well, this person said this on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have Twitter,
right,
guys. Like,
yeah, we don't need you.
Remember that How I Met Your Mother episode with Sandy Rivers was the newscaster. Then like every morning he would just read the newspaper on the air. That's totally what that feels like,
dude. That is. I haven't seen How I Met Your Mother, but that sounds completely
like
correct.
he would literally pull up a newspaper and just read the paper to its live television audience.
That is what news now. They just scroll their Twitter feed.
Yeah.
Like, man, I can't believe Marjorie Taylor Greene said another thing that no human being would ever think.
Oh my goodness. So to answer his question, did your parents pay attention to the ESRB, Alyssa?
They didn't pay attention, but they really didn't have a choice because my uncle, I've said this so many times, he would babysit me during the summer when they worked, and he would just play games in front of me, let me play games with him. Of course, we're playing Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, My parents had already lost that battle, so they let me play whatever I wanted. And back then, games weren't as, I would say, graphic as they are now. Like, they obviously didn't look as graphic. There wasn't as much, I would say, nudity and stuff appearing in games. Even the blood didn't look real back then.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't really have an issue with that.
Okay. What about you, Zach?
Oh, hell no. They didn't. Yeah, my mom definitely didn't care. I didn't meet my dad until I was too formed. So I guess even if he did have an objection,
I was born into it.
He was
molded by it.
Yes.
I just remember your story.
Darkness.
I'm about to embarrass you, Zach.
Okay.
Your story of having Dante on the back of your bedroom closet door.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because you weren't allowed to have posters.
Right.
Which, that's an excellent poster to have on the back of your closet door.
He's looking smoking hot on that wall scroll. But no, nobody cared about. My mom definitely didn't care about.
God's so
ratings.
done with us.
Didn't you like learn the birds and the bees by watching American Pie or something like that?
My mom's idea of a childhood movie for me was American Pie, which
I was never told the birds and the bees. Never.
Well, I didn't need to have the discussion because I was watching. They teach you how to go down on a girl in that movie. Like it was pretty informative. So no, my mom definitely didn't care. I think I told the story once of me how proud she was when I figured out that you get a health boost in Grand Theft Auto by banging the hooker.
I remember
but then it's good economics because you kill her and you get your money back.
Wow.
And my mom thought that was a brilliant idea. She was showing off to her friend about how smart I was. So no,
nice.
There was no consideration. I remember, and you know what? I guess I will give a brief thank you to my father because I remember once we went to pick up Indigo Prophecy from GameStop, and the GameStop guy was like, "Hey, there's nudity in this game, just so you know." And I was like, "No, there's nudity in the European version. Here in the North American version, there's no nudity. And even if there was, it's an Xbox nipple. It's not going to really change my life." And he's like, "No, there's absolutely nudity in this game." I just shout out to my dad because he's like, "Honestly, I trust my kid to know what's in this game way more than you, guy." So and then just let me buy it.
I just have a story about how I even learned about the birds and the bees. I'm not going to get explicit.
Here we go.
No one told me, and health class in high school was abysmal. They didn't teach us anything. They were just like, you will die if you have fun times.
Wasn't that a thing in Mean Girls? He's like,
pretty much.
If you have unprotected sex, you will die.
So I only learned about some of it by reading 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That was my introduction. I'm like, what?
Did you just think that's how it all was?
Yes. I'm like, what?
Like everybody beats each other?
Because no one told me anything. So I'm just like,
oh boy.
I was what? This is what?
That's a hell of a way to develop a kink.
Alyssa shows up to her first time with a zippered mask over her mouth. Like, let's go.
This is how it's done, right?
Let's go.
That's a hell of a prom
I don't
night.
recommend learning it that way.
That's awesome.
Oh my goodness.
So Scott, now your mom, she wouldn't even let you play Japanese role-playing games, right?
Oh yeah. My parents didn't really pay attention to the ESRB. They just paid attention to whatever the Christian radio station told them to pay attention to. I do remember one time, like I had to sell my mom on letting me play Turok, like the original Turok. Like I actually like rented it and had to play it in front of her to show her that it wasn't that bad. See, I'm just killing dinosaurs. Like they're fine. There's no nudity or anything like that, and she actually let me buy that game. So
wow.
But yeah, the JRPGs was the big one. My mom was a very zealous, fundamental Christian woman, and she heard on the Christian radio station that I think I've told this story before, but that Japanese role-playing games had subliminal messages in them that convinced children to do terrible things like kill themselves.
Right.
And so yeah, I was not allowed to play Japan, and I wanted to play Final Fantasy VII so badly. Like, do you remember there was what game was it that had a demo of Final Fantasy VII inside it? I want to say it was I can't remember. It was another
Square Enix game, right?
Yeah, Brave Fencer Musashi. Does that sound right?
Yeah, well, I know it had a demo in it. I can't remember if it was
maybe it was Final
7 or
Fantasy
8.
VIII actually.
Yes, I think it had. Yeah.
I had a demo of Final Fantasy VII, like just that played like the opening mission until the bombing run,
Right.
and I would play that over and over again because that's all I had. I wasn't allowed to buy the original game, and I remember like playing it in front of my dad, and he's like, "How did you know that little treasure chest is over there?" I'm like, "It's the video game."
Right.
Like you've played this before. I was like, "I played the demo." You know what I mean? But I wanted to play Final Fantasy so badly. I literally have you ever heard this story, Alyssa?
I don't think I have.
I wrote Square Enix. It was Square Enix it was just Square at the time. That's how long ago this was. I wrote Square, looked up their address, and wrote them and said, "Hey, I really want to play your video game, but my mom won't allow me because she heard on the Christian radio station that there are subliminal messages. Can you please write me back and let her know that it's safe to play your games?" They wrote back, Alyssa.
I remember
awesome.
this.
They wrote back, and forgive me those of you that have heard this story before, but I love to tell this story. They wrote back, and they said, "Our games are definitely safe to play. It would not make sense for us to put subliminal messages in our games that would kill our customers."
That's such a logical explanation for such an insane letter to receive.
Right. And, let your mom know our games are safe to play. We hope to have you as a valued customer, blah, blah, blah. I wish I still had that letter. That would be a great...
That would be awesome to have.
Yeah. So I showed it to my mom, and she said, "Well, this just proves that these games have control over you. So you are definitely not playing JRPGs. If you went to that length to write a letter, then you are obsessed, and we are not letting you do this." I don't know.
Shout out to Square Enix, though, or Squaresoft at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right, Squaresoft. But I don't know. If I had a kid and my kid took the initiative in the 90s to find the address of a place,
contact a company.
Contact the company. I had to have been 15, 16 years old, and then turn that into a negative. Like, that's taken I don't know.
Also, you're so old at that point. What is it? Yeah. I can't imagine restricting my kid on playing Japanese role-playing games at 16.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks.
anyway.
But yeah, that's my story, so...
I had to... Did you play the demo on Tobal number 1? Does that sound familiar? Or
I think that might be right.
Or a PlayStation Underground demo. I
think it was a PlayStation Underground demo. Okay. That makes more sense. Tobal number 1 was a fighting game, wasn't it?
Wasn't it? I thought it was like it's like a half fighting game, half platformer, right?
I apparently didn't play it. I just, in my mind, it was a fighting game, but I
just remember Tobal number 2.
Oh, it's a clever sequel name.
I wonder how they came up with it. It's a fighting game with adventure mechanics. But anyway, I was curious who the Final Fantasy VII demo was because I don't remember playing one. But
I mean, it was literally lifted from the game. There wasn't anything.
Yeah, that's how they did it back then.
No, I think there actually was the items were different. Like where you went off the beaten path to get some items out of chests. Those were a little bit different.
No,
at the time. So obviously the material was kind of simpler. So anyway, moving on to Discord. You were up, sir.
David Newman asks, "You have access to all the games in the world and unlimited time to play them. What's the first 3 you're playing?"
Dead Space 2 remake, Dead Space 3 remake.
Oh, so you're also time traveling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Metroid Prime 2 remake.
Perfect. All the games people want.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on a high kick for both of those series right now. But again, if I'm time traveling, man, what is in the future?
Does he? I don't feel like he said that you're time traveling. He just says you have access to all the games in the world and unlimited time to play them.
But unlimited access to all the games in the world means future too.
Well, no, it doesn't say you're breaking down the space-time continuum.
I was trying to find a
Stephen
loophole.
Hawking.
We can't all be CB.
Yeah, right. I mean, I feel like I have access to every game in the world. Like, what
Right.
game do I not have access to? Right
Well, now you have unlimited time.
That's why I added the time travel component because.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Well, I took it more as you have unlimited time. Like you no longer have to worry about your job or whatever. For
Sounds
a
like
time.
Desert Island games.
A little bit,
Yeah.
except I assume you have to snap back to reality at some point. If you just had CB's
There
power
goes gravity.
to ignore your entire friends and family while you play a video game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What games did you play first?
I go back and actually see what the main quest in Skyrim actually is.
There you go. That's a smart one.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one. What are some other? I mean, there's so many games that I have on my hard drive that I've never even played. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I've never touched more than an hour. It's sad. I would just kind of clean up backlog games like Cyberpunk 2077. I've got on my hard drive.
Oh,
Never
sure.
played it. Yeah, just major games from my backlog that I never got to because life got in the way. Even though they may not be my favorite games, but just ones that I feel almost obligated to play because I've got them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's similar to where my brain went because I would finally play Legend of Heroes: Trails in the Sky.
Mm-hmm.
Fallout New Vegas would definitely be at the top, which I'm sure I could find the time for someday. But it's from the people who made the good Fallout games back in the day.
Fallout 3. Oh, those are two different studios too.
Right.
Obsidian made
Yeah, New
Vegas,
Vegas.
right?
Yeah, that's what I want to play. But Obsidian houses the people that made Fallout in the first place.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, and then you know what? I want to say Planescape Torment. I'll throw that in there.
Wow, that's a random poll.
Yeah, well, I've always wanted to play it, but I know it's supposed to be like 60 hours or something, and it's mostly talking, which I guess should appeal to me. But they did put it on PS4. Yeah, so it's just about squeezing out those hours, which, as we constantly talk about on the show, is pretty difficult to do.
Yeah. Did you see that Legend of Dragoon is available to own digitally now?
Yeah, on PS1.
I saw that, yeah.
I remember really liking that game.
And they had to patch it because it was broken.
Oh, really?
Which is hilarious because how do you make a PS1 game broken on PS5?
I
But it has trophies and stuff too, though, which is super cool.
Oh, that's cool. I have so many JRPGs to play right now, and I just don't have 30 or 40 hours to play games.
Right. Yeah, Persona 5 would also be great to play through since a casual playthrough is 120
So
hours.
good.
Seriously. Like, if I had unlimited time, I could just, I got spring break coming up, man.
Scott, you do this every year.
I know. But I have purposely this year, spring break, not made a single plan the entire week.
Okay.
It is going to be nothing but video games all day.
Well, and probably a chore list.
Shh.
Sorry, unlimited video
She'll
games.
hear you.
She will never listen to this show.
No, I mean I don't know what I'm gonna play, but I am going to knock out some games. If I don't get to Call of Duty by then, that will for sure be on there. I do have to finish some reviews too. I think I still owe 3 reviews for the site.
When is spring break?
2 weeks from. Oh, it'll be a week from this Friday. So
Okay,
basically 2 weeks.
nice.
So the only thing I've got going on is I've got a DJ gig, school dance up in Wisconsin the first Saturday of spring break. But that's paying $1,000, so I'm definitely doing that.
That's like half an NES game.
Right.
Yeah.
What it's all for, man. MGC's coming up, man.
Yeah, super cool.
So
What about you, Alyssa?
I would probably play Chrono Trigger because I've never played it. That'd be great.
That's not even that long.
I know, but I just have never had the time. I don't have access to it right now, so.
Oh, whoa, yeah.
yeah, you need to play Chrono
Yeah.
Trigger. That
No,
needs
but
to be a break the seal as well.
You could probably
I
play
need
that on
to.
Steam Deck, right?
Yeah,
Can
you
you?
can actually.
I
I
don't-
can't
yeah.
imagine you can't.
The Steam version I remember, I don't know if it's still the case. When it came out, it looked like crap and all the text was weirdly bad. So I don't know, like the font
Actually,
they chose
I think
is
I
weird.
bought it on Steam Deck. I just forgot I bought it. I have it. So I
Your
have
time-
access. I just lied.
Your time is
Sorry.
now.
I would like to, like Zach, play Legend of Heroes because that looks really good.
Well,
And
we can have like a book club.
Game Club.
In our infinite time.
And then also, I've wanted to play 13 Sentinels ever since it released, and I just never
me too.
had the time. I know you gushed about it, Zach.
Yeah, it's so good.
So
I
those
see
are
that
my
one pop
three.
across on Wario 64 every once in a while on sale, and I've come very close to pulling the trigger just to like add it to a pile of backlog.
So you
But-
can also think you're gonna get to it one day.
Yeah, pretty much.
So mine are all kind of JRPGs.
That's a good call, though. Yeah.
Right,
True.
that's a smart use of time.
Man, Chrono Trigger is so good. It's just so good.
Yeah.
All right, who's up? I believe Alyssa is.
Yep. And Thomas Bex writes, one great memory I have of gaming with friends was when I would play Civilization with my friends. We would burn through entire nights on that fantastic game. Later, when we were older, I would meet up with them and bring red wine and cream and chives crisps. We would call them the Civ crisps. What are the best gaming snacks, and does it come with a memory like mine?
Oh, gaming snacks. I think I've talked about this before, but
Yeah.
I like to eat things out of a cup. And
I
that
don't-
sounds
Right, 'cause you
weird.
don't wanna-
I don't snack
wanna-
when I game.
Yep, neither do I. Gaming time is not for eating.
Yeah, that's my thought.
Cheddar Jack Cheez-Its in a big tall tumbler, so I don't get the cheesy fingers while I play.
Exactly. That is my
That's
primary
smart.
concern is getting my controller dirty.
Yeah.
I get
don't
made
let-
fun of all the time for drinking my food out of a cup, but I don't.
It sounds silly, but I'm not usually hungry when I'm playing video games.
I'm not either.
The game's good, I usually forget to drink water all day too because I'm playing the game.
right.
It's all I want to do.
I don't have any fun memories based on past experiences because I feel like food was something that we would stop the game to go eat some pizza or something, or while the other person was playing and we were watching, we would chat on a piece of pizza or something. But
I was gonna say, yeah, the only thing I really remember is Halo LAN parties where you would order pizza and then there were only so many Xboxes and controllers, so you would have to when you died and your turn was out, you would just eat some pizza.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, pizza's an easy go-to for stuff like that. But,
Right. So and I know it's not a very exciting answer, but
I used to hang out with my buddy Mike, and we would order frozen pizzas. And I remember that was when he tried to get me to try like different kinds of pizzas, and they do like a bacon cheeseburger pizza. I was like, that. How can that be terrible? It was.
how could it be?
It sounds so
bad.
good.
It was a frozen pizza, man. It was not good. That's why I don't branch out with pizza too much. I'm a pepperoni guy, maybe some bacon, but outside of that, I'm good. Like I don't.
Are
need
you
to...
a pineapple on pizza guy or not?
Hell no.
I love pineapple on pizza.
Yeah, I'm a hell yeah. I don't salty and sweet. What an amazing combination!
It is so good. I'm so glad you like pineapple on pizza, Zach.
I love salty and sweet in most combinations. I don't understand the pineapple rhetoric.
See, we got something else in common, Zach. I was afraid you were
There
going to
we
say
go.
no.
No, absolutely not. I'm a big supporter. Because you get like some pepperoni or like some
Yeah.
you get the little. It's all good, man. That's good stuff.
And then you get like a little burst of sweetness.
Yes.
No.
You're crazy.
He talked about cream and chive crisps. Yeah, I do like some sour cream and onion.
What's a crisp over in Europe? Is that a
It's
cracker?
a chip.
Chips.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pringles. I like sour cream and onion Pringles.
Those are good.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah,
Pringle
of course.
gal.
And you can kind of get away with those, without like having to resort to a cup because you can kind of just
Yeah, you
stack
could
them
just
there
tilt,
and grab
or
them by
you could
the
tilt
end.
the cup.
I can't do that. Then you just
Yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
I'm so anal. Like if those things aren't stacked in there perfectly, drives me
That's
nuts.
me too. I had to fix it.
Yeah,
In the Pringle container.
yeah.
Yeah.
So either white cheddar Cheez-Its or the cheddar jack Cheez-Its. There's actually like these new Cheez-Its that are like duos. It's like cheddar and then bacon flavored ones.
Yeah. Those are good.
Oh man, but they're
The-
perfect.
The have you tried the Cheez-It Grooves?
Yes. Oh, those are even better.
You like it? Oh man, I was actually kind of disappointed by them.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they because they have ones that are like much bigger.
I did the white cheddar grooves.
No, not the white cheddar ones aren't the good ones. It's like the ranch ones that are
Okay.
good with the grooves. Try the ranch.
I need to try cheeses again. I haven't had Cheez-It since I was a kid, I don't think.
Seriously? Oh,
It's
every-
been a long time.
Every week at the grocery store, I close my eyes and grab a random box of Cheez-Its.
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little surprise for myself.
Cheez-Its are so good.
That's fun.
And
Yeah.
there's so many different flavors, and they actually put enough seasoning on them. You know what I mean? It's not like
Yes,
just
yeah.
a little bit.
Well, they're great to bring to work.
I think my
Yes,
thing with
a
cheeses
little
was,
snack.
and I think why I haven't eaten them, going off tangent again,
This is fine. This is on topic.
When I was in elementary school, I also went to a Lutheran elementary school, and then there was always like you could go to school early and you'd sit with a bunch of kids in the chapel. And I remember one kid eating Cheez-Its, and he ate too much, and he threw up.
Oh, great.
And I have a fear of that, which had not developed at that time, but I think that just tainted them for me.
So now you don't like Cheez-Its because of that memory?
Yeah, I think that's it.
It's time, Alyssa.
I still have...
Good.
I actually just triggered myself with that memory, but I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
Doritos Dynamitas Chili Limon is the best chip out there, so make sure you eat those. Just make sure you wash your hands before you touch your controller.
I think you turned me onto those when you were here last time, and you're not wrong. Those are delicious.
Do they have a very strong lemon flavor?
No, it's
it's lime.
Oh, lime. That's what I meant, lime.
But it's I don't know about strong, but you can definitely tell it's there.
I'm not a big lime person. I tried the Mexican street corn Cheetos, and they just tasted like pure lime, and I'm like, nope.
Well, I think you should give these Doritos a chance.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
There we go. Mm-hmm.
Next one comes from Drew Ross, who says, what 3 games would you like to see either remastered or a remake to? Zach?
Well, Drew, just wait long enough, and every game will be.
Yeah.
Remastered. I gotta, because it's in my head. Red Dead Redemption 1. Remaster it. Yeah. Just put those story missions in the mechanics of and world of Red Dead 2. Mm-hmm. Just because it's just so much more live there. And then Fallout New Vegas. I would love to see remastered because
that's on my list.
Yes.
Because I know the original release is supposed to be kind of rough, right?
Not as rough as Fallout 3, although Fallout 3 looks pretty good. With the up-res thing that we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
I would like to see that game rehauled.
I think New Vegas had a lot of technical problems when it came out.
I think it did at launch.
Yeah, a lot of bugs and stuff.
Yeah.
That would be good. And the remaster would allow you to make it so you don't have to load every time you go into and out of the strip, which I remember from my brief time with New Vegas, I found kind of annoying because you go there a lot. Mm-hmm. And oh boy, a third one, let's say Chrono Trigger in HD 2D style.
Oh, like the Octopath Traveler style?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. I think that would look gorgeous with Chrono Trigger.
I agree. Alyssa?
Well, Chrono Trigger was on my list as well, because again, I have it on Steam Deck now, but I would love to see it remastered and play it that way. I would also like to see a remaster. You don't even have to do a good job with it. Of Deadly Premonition. I just want it on one of the current consoles. I love that game so much. It's so janky.
God, oh yeah, I want to play that game too. Put that on my unlimited time list.
You either love it or hate it, and I love it so much.
I
just want it on Xbox Series X, S, or PS5. I'd pay $60 for it again. Just
Isn't
give
it
that
on
to
Steam Deck?
I don't know. It needs to be the director's cut because the original version's even jankier.
Yeah, I know it's on Switch, but that's obviously not modern.
Yeah, it's the original version. We need the director's cut of it on.
Oh, really? The Switch version is not the director's cut?
It's not.
Oh my gosh.
You think it would be, but it's not.
You think it would be after how many years later it was? Wow.
I believe they only had the director's cut on PS3 and PC.
Wow, okay. Thanks for warning me.
Yeah, so play director's cut, and plus you get extra scenes. So, I need one more game. What do I want remastered or remade? Let's see.
It looks like it's not optimized for Steam Deck. You would have to do some things to make it happen. But, yeah. It does not run on Steam Deck. So, yeah. Scratch what I just said.
Boo.
But, well, while you're thinking, Alyssa, I'll jump in. I've been on ever since you guys did the Xbox 360 episode, and we've been talking about some of the games from that era. I just want to bring back those because I don't have an Xbox 360 anymore, and I don't want to have to grab one to be able to play some of these games. But so I'm going to say Singularity, the Saboteur,
hell yeah,
and what's the one I just talked about that I got on Steam Deck? Enslaved. Just like I just want to relive those games on my current console, just because I remember. Well, I'm not relive because I haven't played the Saboteur, but Singularity, freaking great. And just Saboteur seems like a game that I would really enjoy. So I'll say those three.
I think Enslaved would do well in a more modern context.
You think so?
I think so. I think it would stand out, especially if since it's a Ninja Theory game. Xbox could make it a first party remake if they wanted to. I think it'd be a big deal.
Fair enough. All right, we got 2 more. Zach, you're up. Oh wait. Alyssa had one more.
I still couldn't think of anything.
Okay, we'll come back to it. If you think of another one, that's fine.
Lego City Undercover. Jacob Gunderson says, story aside, given the opportunity to make your perfect game, what genre or genres would it be, and what would it allow you to do differently than what's on the market today?
Oh, man.
That's a big question, Jacob.
I mean, can we get another Zelda game that has actual dungeons? Like, you know what I mean? Like, not like the whatever they have in Breath of the Wild. You know what I mean? Like the little shrines or whatever.
Tears of the Kingdom's gotta have real dungeons, right?
I don't know.
That's the only complaint anybody had about Breath of the Wild.
It really is. There's just too many of those things. And I feel like I only see those things on TikTok when people are like showing how they can cheat the system and get through those things in like 14 seconds or something instead of. But I mean, just dungeons were just like, that's a Zelda thing. I love the idea of it, like, I like open world games, but I want an open world game that is just not even hub and spoke. It's just go out and find a cave and see what you find and just discover and solve that dungeon, explore the dungeon, find things. And that's just what the game is. Like, you're just going on an adventure.
Have you heard of this game called Elden Ring?
Yeah.
It's pretty close. Except there's not a lot of puzzles, I guess. It's all just combat.
But I don't suck at Zelda. You know what I mean? No, but I mean, even like, I want the game to start out with like no context. Like, there not to be any backstory or anything. You're just a person in a world that just decides to go off and see what the world is all about, and you just kind of develop your own story. Just make it happen based on whatever you find, and you run into people and characters, and you just kind of organically grow it. I mean, with as big as AI and everything is right now, you know what I mean? Like,
Kill me.
No, I know. It's insane to me. I think it was Nate was showing me this weekend. Like, you can just type into this whatever chat thing and say, write me a story about this. And it'll just write like multiple paragraphs of a story like that.
I've seen people on TikTok do that as well.
Like I want a game like that. A game that is just like procedurally generated, individual for every person. You give it some prompt words. It gives you a base story, and you just go explore and then organically make things happen. That's what I want. Obviously, someone would have to make it, so it's not going to be straight up, stealing writing jobs or anything like that. But it's getting scary out there with AI, by the way, man. Like why is nobody worried?
Well, I think they are, but yeah, we have to introduce some kind of legislation or something. It's pretty concerning out there.
Yeah.
I just can't wrap my head around people who think it's okay.
Right.
The AI learns by stealing. Like, that should be offensive right there.
Yeah. I mean, that just at its core, you were plagiarizing.
Right. So the very origin of the concept is that of plagiarism and theft. Mm-hmm. But when that guy, committed plagiarism at IGN, everybody hated him. But I guess if he was a robot, it would have been okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Very strange.
We don't want to piss off the robots because then, Judgment Day happens. So
right. Yeah. So yeah. Familiar. Boy, it's a perfect game though, dude. I don't know. I mean, I have so many ideas for so many games, but none of them are like the perfect game. Mm-hmm. But like especially without the story, I usually think of my game's story first in my head. Too. I do have this idea of like combining Doom with a JRPG in my head that I think would be pretty sweet.
Like the original Doom or 2016?
I'm talking about like the ideas, like the kind of that kind of visceral first person bloody combat, but mixed with a turn-based JRPG.
Oh, yeah. Have we ever seen that? It's always just like, just kind of go back like I'm hurt.
Not to what I can think, because in my head, if you did do Doom, you could almost use a Doomslayer as a summon or something.
Yeah.
Or all the id characters really get the Blazkowicz in there,
and you get that Doom music playing as the battle music, but you have like different versions of it, so it's not the same one playing every single time.
Yeah, I always thought that would be a super cool idea.
Oh, you could do glory kills to get some of your HP back?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I think there's so many. I think it's a great idea. Bethesda, hit me up. I'll make you a Doom JRPG. Because I know they had Doom RPG back on flip phones, if you remember.
No.
Oh yeah, but it wasn't quite the turn-based endeavor that I'm imagining. But yeah, dude, Jacob, I got so many ideas. I think what it would be I really wish I could see Dead Rush, which was a canceled game, to fruition. But I guess you kind of do now, because it was kind of survivally in that you would go into homes and explore for items and stuff to bring back to your camp, but you only had this one car in the whole game that was able to run. But the zombies and monsters could jump on your car and stuff and like rip the doors off. But then so now you have to go and get a door off another car to put onto your car, and it just looked like this weird monstrosity by the end. But it got canceled, so Treyarch could make Spider-Man 2 instead. And you could enter every single building, which was cool. But I don't know. I think I'm too story forward to be thinking about genres first. But I know if I make games, I would want to keep people on their toes and surprise them.
Could we do a JRPG game where you have a peripheral that has you actually rolling physical dice to determine whatever happens?
There's got to be, yeah. There's got to be a way to do that.
That would be cool to me.
Yeah.
I know you said that like in the patch for whatever KOTOR, you said that you can actually see the dice rolling or something. Or
Well,
was there a mod for it or something?
I think there might be a mod, but yeah, all the dice rolling happens behind the scenes in KOTOR, yeah.
Right.
But it is cool that all of your stats when you're character building all says like D6 and stuff. So so it is very Dungeons and Dragons-y. It's pretty cool.
But it would be cool to be able to like I don't know why I love throwing dice. When we play
I think it'd be
D&D, it's
great.
just
Like,
my favorite thing.
It'd be like a Skylanders portal, except you can throw dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the only problem is that people would just be like, I rolled a 20. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
But
then they're ruining the game for themselves.
Right. Yeah.
So
I just
screw
think
them,
it'd be really fun to do that and then just see like the game read the die. You know what I mean? Like whatever came up and then, does it accordingly. I think that would be a really cool idea. And I feel like there's got to be a market for that, right?
With how big D&D is now, definitely.
Yeah. I think that would be pretty cool. So, Alyssa, did you have one?
It's hard for me to like even come up with one because I'm again a huge story person, and every idea I come up with is story heavy. So
that's fine.
Yeah.
We said story aside.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'd probably be like trying to make games like Life is Strange or something along those veins.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I would love to be the guy to finally make Warren Spector's dream game of the one city block, but in hyper detail.
Yeah.
I think that'd be super cool. You go to every building and pick up everything on every shelf, and every character has a routine that can be followed and stuff like that. I think
the
that'd
Truman
be
Show.
Yeah, it'd be. I think you do something very cool with that, and it's almost like, let's say you just take a week, right, in this city block, and if everybody's got their own life to live, and if you don't see it, you just don't see it.
You can make a Groundhog Day style game that way.
You could, yeah, but I'd almost like it to be where it's constantly auto-saving, so if you miss something, oh well, you just have to replay it, basically, from the start.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
That'd be interesting.
I think there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah. I'd play it. Just call it Slice of Life.
There you go.
Yeah. Alyssa, you want to take the last one?
Sure. Tim Thane writes, is there a genre or type of game that you are just done with? For me, I think I've finally hit a wall with crime-based city open-world games, or what we used to all call GTA clones. The huge maps, the endless side quests, I'm just over it. I'm sure I'll make an exception for the eventual Grand Theft Auto 6, but I'm getting so burned out on open world games, I've gotta be choosy these days.
I'm gonna sound like the old guy. I'm over Battle Royale.
I was gonna say, the Battle Royale.
I mean, just multiplayer in general. Like, I would rather play a game where I am teaming up with somebody, completing a task together instead of playing against them. Unless it's like a board game or something like that. I'm just over the, like, I beat you, I dominated, I don't care.
Right.
I don't know. That's me.
Yeah, me as well. That's what I was going to say, Battle Royale.
See, what other crime-based city games are there? Just Saints Row, or?
Cyberpunk, I guess, technically could be considered that,
I mean,
right?
Mafia was kind of like that, but they haven't released a new one of those.
And for most of the mafias, the open world's just kind of there. I'm not trying to judge Tim. I mean, I'm certainly sick of most open world games as well. But I'm sure he'll make an exception for GTA 6 because Rockstar just is built different. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like I'm also over just lengthy games in general. Like, I can't tell you the last 50, 60-hour game that I played. I mean, that's just part of getting old, I guess, but...
Right. I thought I was, but Red Dead Redemption 2 is part of my very
Sucked
fiber
you
of
back
my
in.
being. Yeah. I guess it's all about pacing or something. I don't know.
I have to go back to that episode where you dogged on how much you didn't like that game.
Yeah, I know. I owe it an apology. I should write an editorial just called "I owe Red Dead Redemption 2 an apology."
Make a TikTok video of Zach just saying, "I'm sorry."
You know,
and then
it made so
attach
many
it.
People angry.
Attached it to that video that where we put it originally.
Oh yeah, where everyone was dogging on us.
Yeah.
That's funny. But really, it's I think looter shooters, which I was never really on board with for very long anyway.
You mean like Destiny
or Borderlands, yeah.
Yeah,
because the first Borderlands, I had a lot of fun with. The Borderlands 2, I was like, okay, the gameplay is okay, but obviously I can't stand the writing.
Mm-hmm.
But now it just feels like, especially ever since Destiny, it feels like any game with guns wants to be a looter shooter at this point.
Right.
The Division, for instance, and
Division was so good.
The Division frustrated me because, especially the Division 2, because I was like, man, I'm really enjoying this, like the open world and going for building and the tactical combat, but I just don't care about all these menu mechanics that they're forcing on me.
Gotcha.
I don't get any thrill from seeing the number go up.
I do.
I know. Yeah, and I know you like checklists. I like the number when it means something, but when it means 2.1% frost damage when you're in a lava cavern, that means nothing to me. It means nothing to the game. And like in most RPGs, I'm mostly just picking what looks coolest anyway, and not caring about the stats. And I'll just figure it out.
So you're not going to play Diablo 4 with us then? Probably.
Highly, highly unlikely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Just nothing about it excites me.
That's too bad. So, Alyssa, do you have another one besides Battle Royale? Or
Not really. I'm not really tired of any other genres.
Yeah. I don't know that I am. I mean, I just don't play the ones that I...
Yeah, that's the same. I don't play the ones I'm not interested in.
I don't know if I'm going to say I'm tired of Assassin's Creed games, but I didn't finish the last one. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it was also 100 hours or whatever.
I know, and I hear everybody on our Discord talking about like just how massive that world is, and I'm just like, I just don't have the time to do that anymore. I wish I did, but
I'd rather have a smaller, denser world personally than
big
landmass.
Something I can knock out, and it's so backwards from the way I felt 10 years ago. Because I used to just crave those games, but that was also because I didn't have so many at my fingertips. I was trying to make games stretch out and last longer.
Well, they say, back then, if you had a 180-hour game, it's like, oh, man, this is pretty crazy. But now every game is 80 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to make these business decisions of like, well, if I play this, that means I can't play these other 3 80-hour games.
Right. All right. Well, thank you, everybody that sent in questions. We really appreciate it. I feel like we've been doing that every other month now instead of every month, and I think that works out well. So stay tuned for the social media outlets for our next week's topic, which I'll give you a preview of now. This is actually CB's idea. He wanted to talk about being comfortable when you're gaming. What is the idea place for you to play games? What does your room look like? What does your chair look like? Are you using a blanket? Are you having food? Are the lights off? Are the lights on? Is the windows open? What is the ideal gaming space look for you where you are the most comfortable? We're already planning on putting together a TikTok video that's supposed to be pretty funny to put out for that. So stay tuned for that. So that will be next week's episode. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening to the Gaming Outsider. I'd like to remind you that the podcast was produced by Kevin Honigford, and all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemage and Metroid Metal. His website is stemagemusic.com, STEMAGE music.com. And if you are like Zach and I on a Metroid kick, be sure you check out his website because he does some awesome kick-ass versions of the music in Metroid. You do not want to miss it. Also, please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutfitter.com. It's Zach. Do you have any parting words or maybe some recommendations for people before we leave?
Have I talked about the X-Files on here?
No.
I'm rewatching the X-Files. I'm in the middle of season 2 now.
Still hold up?
Oh my God. It's so good. It's just so good.
Did that ever wrap up though? Like, I feel like that never
Well, I thought season 9 wrapped up.
It did, okay.
But then they brought it back, and then they had to undo a lot of stuff, and it kind of sucked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think season 10 and 11 are terrible, actually.
Oh, wow. Where are you watching it?
It's on Hulu. All of it's on Hulu.
Oh, is it?
Okay.
Yeah. It's so insanely good. I just don't know how to describe it. And in some ways, it's kind of freaky because they'll say things about the future. You're like, oh, well, that happened.
Yeah.
Or there was just an episode that had to do with like conspiracy theorists, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, they're talking about how fascism enters in a civilization. Like the first thing any government does if it wants to control its population is divide us. They'll create labels and micro labels and have us focus in on them so that we can all just talk about what's dividing us instead of ever focusing on the fact that we're all in it together against them. And I was like, boy, does that sound familiar.
Wow.
Unbelievable. You couldn't have predicted it any closer if you wanted to.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable in that regard. But yeah, it's just super cool. And I don't know, it's nice to see something that's like so into just the traditional version of aliens, the little grays with the big eyes and all that, and to just treat it with such seriousness.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're really, even though there's, they're basically like little dudes, right? But there's such a threat in the X-Files. It's super cool. And Mulder's just such a great character. Scully's a great character. Their chemistry is unbelievable. Dude, the X-Files it holds up, and in some ways is better than modern television.
And one of the best theme songs too.
Oh, definitely. The intro is so cool, and
mm-hmm.
And they, how the intro always ends with the truth that's out there, but then
mm-hmm.
every now and again it says something. It'll just be like deny everything. Yeah, it just changes every now and again. I don't know. There's just so many cool. There's so many great quotes. I want to believe, and there's no government has jurisdiction over the truth. It's good stuff. And the cigarette smoking man's so cool. God, guys, the X-Files is great.
And you're making me want to start that again.
I've
good. Never watched it, and I need to.
Oh my God. If you miss episodic television at all, where it has like one and dones.
Yeah.
X-Files is
just
week. Yeah, very brilliant for that. But then they pepper in, every 6 episodes every season is like this huge mythology episode where you learn more about the aliens and the government covering it up and the Pentagon's connections, and so it just has this great balance.
You sold me. I may have to give up on what I started. I started Scrubs again.
Also a great show.
Another one I haven't seen.
That show just makes me smile so much. And Sarah Chalk was so cute on
that
show.
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way about Gillian Anderson. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been watching. I'm still very early in season 1, but show just consistently makes me laugh. So yeah, that's my recommendation for the week. Alyssa, what about you?
I've been watching an anime called Haikyuu. I am late to the party on this one.
You're not as late as we are.
Yeah.
I'm almost at the end of season 3, and then there's just season 4, and then it's supposed to be a movie. But the anime is a sports anime, which I don't like sports in real life.
A sports anime? I didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah,
whole genre. Yeah,
whole genre. This is volleyball, and just seeing this group of high schoolers try to win all these matches, I'm just cheering them on. I'm like, go,
yay!
you little cuties, go.
Scott loves the cheerleaders.
But there's also some emotional moments. There's some moments that honestly shock you. It's just, there's an actual story too with it, not just it being a sports anime where you see a volleyball match every episode. There is an actual story and plot, and these characters go through different things, and it's also just a feel-good anime. It makes me smile every episode.
It's called Haikyuu?
Yeah, Haikyuu.
But it's about volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I
will say, though, the only place that had the English dub was Netflix, and they don't have it anymore, so you can't watch it dubbed anywhere.
Oh.
Wow.
So,
welcome to the future, everybody.
Yeah, that's the only downside. And it's like 90-something episodes total, I believe.
Wow. Holy crap.
So it is
That's
a
lot of volleyball.
Yeah, it is a lot of volleyball. But I love it.
Nice. Well, thank you guys both so much for being here. It was great to catch up with you guys. Thanks for filling in last week, Zach. I promise I will try not to do that, but I booked that concert a long time ago. So it was
it's all good.
But that is Zach. That is Alyssa. Love you guys. Until next week, I'm Scott with Zach Parkerson and Alyssa White, and we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.